Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to checking out the YouTube version of Cinematic Autopsy. We've noticed a lot of you are watching and have not subscribed.
Yeah.
So,
Please subscribe.
Yeah, before we begin, it would be wonderful if you guys could click on that little link right there. Right, see where I'm pointing right there. And you'll notice that if you scroll down, you'll see subscribe. So subscribe to us, CL Squared Productions. You'll be able to see our videos, stuff.
We have lots of cool content for you guys. You'll know everything that we're up to in the film world, whether we're talking about it or doing it.
Exactly. So let's give you 5 seconds to subscribe. All right, everyone. Hello.
Hello, boys and girls.
Hi. That was Peanut, too. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cinematic Autopsy,
where we dissect cinema.
Yes, I'm a creepy dude living in the Chelsea Hotel.
Yes. And I am obsessed with stuffed animals.
Yes.
Actually, look at how creepy Baby Doogie looks right now. He's absolutely terrifying.
So, actually, I'm Charles D. Lincoln, and this is Chelsea.
I'm Chelsea LeSage. Hello.
Yes,
and we are CL Squared Productions.
Yay. As you can see on one of the very convenient little things I've placed upon the screen.
No, it just magically appears. He didn't do it at all.
Yes. I do it through the magic. Movie magic. Anyway, people, thanks for tuning in. This is part of our series of talking about films and their remakes. Last week we spoke about Brian De Palma's 1976 version of Carrie, which was the first novel that Stephen King ever had adapted. And
I still can't get over the $2,500 thing.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
And so this week we're going to talk about the 2002 adaptation. The Brian Fuller, who you know from Hannibal and the first season of American Gods, which, by the way, there should only be one. If you ever decide to watch American Gods, pretend there's no other seasons. Just watch the first season.
I think you've said that to me. I mean, I read it and then was just it was so perfect that I decided to not watch.
Oh, the first season is amazing.
Really?
And then they fired Brian Fuller because he goes over budget. All the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all the time.
Fuck. That's
a big complaint they have with him, is that he totally goes over budget. But you can see it on the screen, but watch the first season of American Gods because it's fucking amazing.
It's also probably the, other than Invader Zim, I mean, I'm partial, my favorite, comic I've ever read. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fucking perfection.
So, he produced it. It was actually directed by what's the dude's name? A guy who directed many episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine.
Was you remember, what the fuck was that dude I was really excited to meet?
David Carson.
Andrew, whatever, that I was excited to meet.
Andrew Robinson. He's from Star Trek, and he was also in Hellraiser. He was the guy who says Jesus wept at the end of the film, and he has his face torn off.
Shit.
Yeah, that's Andrew Robinson.
Oh, shit!
Yeah. That's why he was at a horror convention, because of his...
Oh, shit!
Because of his he was in the first Hellraiser. He was the dad. Yeah.
I'm learning things.
Yeah.
But again, was it the same convention where you were like, that's Doug Bradley?
Yes. But he also was 4 or 5 different characters on Star Trek.
Yeah.
So was Jeffrey Combs, actually, who was the lead in Reanimator.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. In fact, he played one character that had 7 clones. So he played 7 versions of the same character on Deep Space Nine.
Was he there that day too?
No, he wasn't. The
most exciting thing, though, for me was the fact that the guy who voiced Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, Mojo Jojo.
I think he's dead now, which is sad.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is he? Oh.
That is.
From Powerpuff Girls.
Yes.
And then a guy who voiced Charmander, which is my little sibling Dylan's favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think Dylan will ever forgive my father for putting... I had a toy Dragonite, and Dylan had a toy Charmander. And he was attached to Charmander at the hip, and my dad went swimming.
Oh, no.
Yes, and Charmander fell out and was lost at sea. And I don't think that I've ever seen such devastation in my life since then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't know much about Pokemon because that's like a generation like before me. Like my ex was super into it. When I was with Brittany, she was super into it. But like the last time I heard anything about Pokemon, that's when like Team Rocket were around and stuff like that.
Team Rocket blast off at the speed of light.
Yeah, that was
I used to be able to actually list all of the first 151 Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could probably do it now.
Yeah, that's definitely like a generational thing because like as I was in my 20s is when Pokemon was starting to become like a thing. So.
Yeah. That's right.
So, yeah. Like, Brittany knew all of them. Like, she had, like, fucking, I can't remember what, like, Pokemon she used to reference to herself and all this other shit. And,
Clefairy.
You know.
Bulbasaur, Venusaur, fuck, I already lost it. Squirtle, Wartortle.
Yeah. Well I assume we can, yes. But... Anyway, people, before we start, we just want to very briefly talk about, because, you know, we like to procrastinate on our show.
We don't do that.
Yes.
Everything is relevant.
Yeah, so we rapidly, speaking, you know, we're doing originals and remakes. Well, we wanted to talk about an original film that Chelsea and I have produced.
Co-produced.
And, and I wrote it and directed it. Chelsea is an amazing antagonist in it.
And he's fucking incredible as far as directing and writing. Like the script is the most fucked up thing probably ever. Mm-hmm. In the most beautiful ways.
Thank you.
It makes people feel things. Not just torture and, like, death and, like, really yucky stuff. It really, like, it pulls on your heartstrings, this film. And it's called Bishop's Cove. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we are in the middle of an IndieGoGo campaign for post-production with, like, we need your help with VFX and...
VFX and sound design and stuff like that.
Composition and color correction and all that jazz. And we're just, you know, we have until February 10th. Mm-hmm. We can't do it without you. Exactly.
Yeah. So take the time. The link is right there.
Magically.
Yeah. So
Carrie White put it there.
Yes. Take the time. Give it a look. You know, you enjoy what we say. At least I hope you enjoy, because there's a lot of you listening, and it'd be really weird if they're all just hating, like, listening.
This is just people who fucking hate us.
But I hope you enjoy what we're doing, and if you do, think about taking a look at what we actually create ourselves as filmmakers. During our commercial break on YouTube, we'll put a little sample on there for y'all.
Ooh.
So consider contributing. igg.me/at/Bishop's Cove Post.
One word.
Yeah. So now on to Carrie 2002.
Which I had never seen.
Yeah, it was made for television from NBC.
Which is shocking, too, because, like, I fall asleep watching either Parks and Rec or The Office every single night, and I'm like, there's no way this is the same network. And it fucking was. Which is crazy. Absolutely insane. And Charles and I both read the novel, like, early on in our lives.
Yeah.
And are re-remembering things. And they were very specific to maybe pay more attention to the novel in this version of it. Yeah, like,
I had forgotten up until literally watching this version that there was even the wraparound story in the novel. Because I think, I've read the novel once.
Which wraparound?
With the detective and all that. Yeah. Even if that was... just parts in the novel, like they didn't have like the full courtroom scene or all that. They didn't go over Norma writing the book of the I Survived the Black Prom or something like that. It was called, and
I didn't even think it was necessary.
Yeah. I honestly I think Brian. It's one of the things when you watch someone who do a more accurate adaptation, you kind of see why Brian De Palma got rid of some of these things.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree with that. It's like they kind of they ruined the whole thing from the get-go, I guess. I mean, like, I'm sure that there are people out there who this was their first version of Carrie, right? Someone.
Yeah. I had an actress who told me
that's just, it's fucking ruined from the beginning.
Because it's one of the things where it's like, this doesn't need to be told in a flashback form, which is, in fact, that's the thing. Up until, like, kind of remembering that, at first I was like, wait, they just didn't, oh no, this was... Whoa, wow, this is actually all there, Yeah.
And what Charles and I are going to try to do is actually reread as much as we possibly can of the novel before we cover next week's Carrie with Chloe Grace Moritz. And
the 2013 version. Yeah.
And Julianne Moore. We'll do the best we can.
Yeah, because I had I read it when I was in high school. It was I took it out from the library.
What'd you call it in last week's episode with the shot of Carrie, actually looking at the catalog?
The Dewey Decimal System. That's when you look at the cards.
That's what he did.
The card catalog.
It's literally what he did.
I have that little term burned in my head because I had a crush on one of the librarians in high school. I was into really nerdy girls. It was actually very
That's so
yeah.
cute.
Yeah, like girls that it was like either like really wild, like, I'm running around topless and drunk, or like I'm really quiet and like I read Sylvia Plath and like.
And I have telekinesis. My high school librarian was the first person I ever remember talking shit about. Mm-hmm. Mrs. Bracken. I always told her that I wish she'd break her bracken. Yeah, and she was like, that doesn't actually make any sense. I was like, shut up. Get straight A's. And she nominated me to be like one of the like reps in the National Honor Society.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And she was like, you see, I still believe in you.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. So I also, like, first and foremost, I don't think that Carrie should have been touched overall as, like, remaking a movie. I think that, there were really fucking cool things in this remake that I can really appreciate.
Yeah, I will say, like I said, I'd only seen this once when it first came out. And that's the thing, is like I've seen the Brian De Palma version of Carrie like at least a dozen times.
And I see Carrie in my sleep every night.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've read the novel once. I saw this version once. I've only seen parts of the 2013 version. I'll say that number one, this was better than I thought it would have been.
Sure.
There are some things I actually like better in this version, even though I don't like this version as much overall. But there's a couple things, and when we get to them, that I think were actually handled better.
Okay.
Like the principal dealing with Chris's father.
100%.
Yeah, I was like, I wish that scene had been in the original, because that's an awesome scene.
100%. And I also overall feel like Patricia Clarkson was just robbed.
Yeah.
Too.
And it's also, well, I think she was nominated for like Emmys or something for this.
I just feel like she should have been given more to do. I think she did the best with like how Mrs. White was written in this version. And also she looks sexy as fuck. Like I think that she's the only one who could like pull off that pleated skirt and be a religious freak and still turn me on. Good for you.
Well, that's her old lady thing. But I'm like I was.
We all like what we like.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not judging you for it.
You know who's judging me? Evie. Speaking of Pokemon.
I will say the funny thing is, because you talked about last week, would I have hung out with Carrie, and I was like, maybe, but she might have smelled. This Carrie would have been someone I actually think I would have been speaking to.
Really?
She reminded me of a lot of like the more quiet, nerdy girls that I was like, that I like had like weird crushes on or whatever.
Interesting. Yeah, Charles and I got into like this long conversation after we watched it.
Well, we said it on the air actually when we talked about that.
Yeah, but like we had just watched this version in the wee hours of the morning, and we're talking about like, of course the differences between Sissy Spacek's Carrie and then, Carrie, and then now is it Stephen King's Carrie?
I think that's what the 2013 version was called.
Okay.
Yeah. Stephen King didn't want anything to do with this version though, because it was the same producer as Carrie to the Rage. And he was really angry that they even made that. So he didn't want anything to do with that guy.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I generally support Stephen King's hatred of everything he does, except for
The Shining, which I'm sorry is better than his book. I'm sorry.
The Shining was really hard for me to get through, but I hated the Stand thing that came out recently.
Yeah, that was a thing where I remember
it's one of the greatest books ever written.
It's in my like top 3 books of all time.
Actually, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in my top 3 books, and I watched it and I was like, oh my god, like this is not good. I think I got through like 20 minutes and I was like, this is so fucking devastating. Yeah.
They fucked the whole fucking thing up.
Yeah, and that's the thing, by the time we get to the last episode, I was just like, well, I might as well finish it.
You got that far?
I finished it, and I was just, but it gets worse. It gets worse with every episode.
Masochist.
Like, I was giving it a chance. Because the first...
You gave it the whole chance. You gave it everything.
Because the first episode, I was like, okay, this isn't good, but you know what? Maybe it's going somewhere.
And this is a lot for Charles, too. That says a lot.
Because The Stand is like 900 characters.
Right.
But my whole thing was, I was like, okay, well, Stu is really not taking any of this as seriously as he should be. But, okay, maybe when they introduce other characters, it'll get better. And it never did. The only character that I thought they did a good job with in that was Harold.
Why?
Because I think that they captured what a little creepy incel he would be these days.
Okay.
But otherwise, I thought everyone was wrong in it.
Also, let it be known, this is the most forgiving that Charles D. Lincoln has ever been in his entire life. But this was not bad. It was way better than I anticipated it to be. It almost didn't even seem like an NBC thing. It seemed like an FX or something like that.
Yeah, up until the bad PS1 graphics start.
At what scene?
Number one with the meteor shower, basically.
Oh well, Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
So we can fuck me, there's meteor showers, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. In the book, it's just rocks raining from the sky.
Right.
And here it looks like a meteor. That's why you commented about how NASA.
Why are these people not contacting NASA immediately? The FBI, NASA, Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you fucking doing? They never, and that scene where they all obviously know that Carrie's fucking doing some warped magic shit.
Yeah.
And they're all just standing outside of the White House and there's fucking meteors coming from the sky.
Yeah.
And none of them are running to be hey NASA, you want this meteorite? And then also because it's a middle class neighborhood, do you have any idea how much you could sell one of those for? You could move out of that neighborhood.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that maybe that's why Estelle's not in the story later on. She took one of the meteors and sold it, or she took one of the meteors and turned into a plant monster. Because another Stephen King reference.
Yes, and she married Harvey Weinstein and watched him masturbate into plants.
Yes,
sorry, that's an old school reference.
Yes, but yeah, that was the thing. I assume that's a very hard. I mean, truly, as a filmmaker, it's hard to do because you have.
You got Uncle Charles.
It's supposed to be rocks raining from the sky. Okay,
which is the thing that got cut in the original.
Yeah, it got cut in the original because they said it just looked like hail.
Yeah.
So I guess they were well, it just looked like hail in the first one, so we have to pump it up a little more. But now it just looks like fucking meteors.
Yeah.
So there has to be a happy medium somewhere to do that scene. But
wasn't.
One of the things Brian Fuller even says he thought that the effects looked cheap. The producer.
Really?
Yeah, he said basically the studio said no more money, but the network said we need more effects.
So the network being NBC.
Yeah, he said that the effects studio did some.
Who said no more money? The producer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The studio said no more money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know what
I wasn't able to find out. It was NBC. It was
NBC.
Yeah, I wasn't able to find the budget for it, but. The effects studio did some great work, but some of it not so much. We weren't giving them the resources they needed to do them right, but we were insisting on having them. It bit us on the ass because it looked cheap.
It did look cheap.
Yeah, and Angela Bettis actually, and also probably wasn't helped by Angela Bettis in 2003 saying, if I weren't in it, I wouldn't have watched it.
That just hurts you and the film and everything.
Yeah, she said I would have been one of those people that was.
Which one is that?
She played Carrie. She was I would have been one of those people that was down with the Carrie remake. She turned it down 3 times before finally accepting it.
Well, why the fuck did they want her so bad then?
Because she was a big name. She was becoming a big name in indie horror. May came out while this was being filmed, and it made her the big name in 2000.
That was the same time?
Yeah, around 2002, 2003.
Well, fuck. Okay.
But as she put it, I turned down Carrie 3 times before accepting. And now, this is interesting. She goes, I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and I had this vision of them hiring someone who had never heard of him before. And I finally said to myself, I've got to defend Stephen King on this Carrie thing because he created such a wonderful character. So if I'm not in it, they're going to probably cast somebody who doesn't have any respect for it. So she decided to go for it.
I think that's very respectful.
Yeah.
Oh no, we froze. Hello, we're here. I think that's very respectful and something that I really love that she kept the stillness and everything, but I also really loved the tremors that she had when she's going. That was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Just such a subtle difference, but it made her it made this Carrie her own.
Yeah.
I mean, she was great.
Yeah. Interestingly, and then we'll get into it scene by scene. This was packaged with Carrie 2: The Rage.
Carrie to the Rage.
What?
That's the Sue thing?
That's the one with Amy Irving as Sue Snell. Which, obviously this is not a sequel to that because someone completely, Sue Snell, I guess lost her tan then in Carrie 2: The Rage and
Have I seen that?
I don't know if you have.
No, I don't think so.
I saw that in the theater actually with a girl I was sleeping with at the time.
Oh.
But
did you get a hand job in the movie theater?
No, I've actually never gotten a hand job in the movie theater.
Really?
Because that wastes money.
I gave a hand job in the movie theater to The Incredibles.
Yeah. To the actual Incredibles, like the cartoons. That was.
Yeah, I really love Edna, the one who makes the costumes. I was like, yep, this is doing it for me.
Well, did she see? Like, if she had a cape, she would have been able
Where's
to cover.
my super suit?
Yeah, if she had a cape, she would have been able to cover when she, sprayed. But
yes, I also gave a hand job on an airplane once.
I've done oral on an airplane. I've never given a hand job.
What?
Yeah.
That's harder.
I mean,
that's so cool.
It wasn't a big deal. It was just me and.
Did you have people next to you?
We went to the bathroom. Yeah.
See, I joined the Mile High Club, but it was only in a private plane.
Yeah. I've never been in a private plane.
You're lost.
Yeah.
I'll make it happen. So Carrie, I'm trying to find this in IMDb to get the actual budget. 2000. No, look at like the Rage Carrie 2 comes up before this does.
Yeah.
See all title results.
Well, the thing is, it's a television production, so it'd be harder to find.
Must be.
Yeah. But anyway, so basically we start off with a wraparound story.
We didn't hate this. Bottom line.
Snell, yeah. Excuse me. We have
bless you.
We see. We hear a baby crying while we see a bloody knife on the ground. It's basically the story of Carrie's mom debating whether or not to kill her when she was, when she was born. Yeah,
I should have given you to God the day you were born.
And so then we see shots of the meteors coming from the sky, which really is not a shot you want to be repeating.
No, I was like, if the late 1970s were going to do a live action of The Land Before Time, that's what the meteors looked like, and it made me really sad.
Yeah, to me it looked like a PS1 game. Like, that was PS1 level graphics.
Don't insult Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Okay? Pro Skater 3.
Yeah.
That was the best. Who directed this?
This was directed by David...
David Carson.
Yeah, but let's keep it going while we do this.
Of course. David Carson.
Yeah, David Carson.
David Carson.
So, yeah, I don't see...
Hold on. Details.
Yeah.
We want to give you guys all the answers.
Yep, we're looking right now. Yeah, it's a TV thing, so I don't think that
Trivia. It's also just like, this was so actually surprisingly well done.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't released to have no box office.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway.
Surprisingly well done that, like, again, it doesn't make sense that it was an NBC thing. Yeah,
so basically, one of the things that happened at the time was that September 11th had happened. So a lot of productions went down, and some were then greenlit. This was basically NBC trying to get a movie of the week format going. And they thought, well, let's do a remake of Carrie as one of them. And then the thought became, well, what if we make it into a series?
Right. This was going to be a series, Charles was telling me.
Yeah, this was kind of done as a backdoor pilot for an NBC, like 1 hour a week,
Backdoor.
Yeah, well, no. So we're in an office. We see a detective talking to someone. It's, God, I can't remember the actor's name, but he was from Firestarter. So he's kind of a Stephen King alumni himself.
The detective?
Yeah, he played the dad in the original Firestarter.
Oh.
Yeah, Twisted File Stalker.
I don't think I even saw that. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh.
It might be one of, and I never read it either.
Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, the detective basically is talking to someone. She's offered a donut. He starts going on about how traditional glazed are like heroin, highly addictive.
Right.
And have you ever tried heroin, Sue?
Have you ever tried? Yeah, and also like things like, and this happened. Speaking of NBC in The Office, where BJ Novak's character makes fun of someone saying, or Steve Carell says, "Oh, it's like crack" or something like that, and he was like, "Have you even tried crack?" That's why I hate when people are like, "Oh, it's like heroin," when it's just, how the fuck do you know?
Well, I mean, he is a cop. They probably have to take, he probably sees a lot of people on heroin.
Tests all the things in the evidence locker.
Yeah, I mean, if he's a television cop, so they know what cocaine tastes like by doing the little finger.
The dipsy-doo.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they do that in every cop show. Every cop show, they do like the...
Oh, no.
This is definitely cocaine.
This has got to be cocaine.
Yes. So, and then he starts asking her about all sorts of drugs and state your name for the record. Yeah, this is actually very distracting to have this like on here.
Oh, I was just trying to find his name. David Keith.
Yeah.
David Keith.
Yeah.
Charles is perturbed.
But
goodbye, David Keith.
Yeah. So basically, and I want to talk about. Sorry. It's okay. I still love you. I still love you. So he wants to talk about Carrie White, and we see the thing on the screen 1 week before the prom.
Yeah, and actually the graphics did not bother me that much.
Yeah, no, they didn't go in any crazy fonts on this one. So now we see Catherine Isabel, who those of you who have seen American Mary or Ginger Snaps or Freddy vs. Jason, she was also another big name in indie horror for a bunch of years.
Get back, Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, well, that was what the reference was to.
Really?
Yeah.
Demon Hunter reference.
Yeah.
I also say that at least once a week.
Ginger Snaps is one of the few good werewolf movies. I will say most werewolf movies suck. Ginger Snaps is one of the really good ones. In fact, Ginger Snaps probably like in the top. Here's the thing, funny thing. I had a discussion with we're doing a podcast of best, like a best thing with Don and Nelly. We had a discussion about the top 10 werewolf movies, and I'm like, that's a trick question because there aren't 10 good ones.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah. I said like you probably have to go top 6, maybe.
Silver Bullet. That's it.
I can't even judge Silver Bullet because I don't remember any of it. I saw it when I was like sick, and 12 years old.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom showed it to me and it scared the fuck out of me. I think she showed me Carrie and Silver Bullet in the same week, and she was like, "I want to ruin your life."
Yeah, I remember the dude with the eye patch. I think it was Chuck Connors, but otherwise, or I could be confusing him completely with a completely different show that Chuck Connors was also a werewolf on.
Yeah, I got Silver Bullet, Carrie, and Dances with Wolves all in the same week.
I've never seen Dances with Wolves.
And they go off to like a teepee, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Mom, are they going to have sex?" And she was like, "No. How do you know what that is?" And I was like, I kind of broke Dad's computer today by going on boys.com, thinking it was a Britney Spears song. Ah. Yes.
So we see Angela Bettis as Carrie.
Yes.
Looking somewhat disheveled. And we also see Catherine Isabel picking on someone. So at this point I was like, okay, is she the Norma character? And then we later discover that Norma and Tina...
Was she Tina?
She was Tina, yeah.
She was Tina.
Yeah. Okay. That basically in the Brian De Palma version, he combined Norma and Tina into Norma.
Clearly, we remember way less of the actual novel.
Yeah. Well, as I said,
it was a long time
when
ago.
you see the movie a whole bunch of times and you only read the novel once, then it becomes a lot.
I'm also Charles's age, so it's been that long for me too.
You are not my age.
Yeah. So this is Tina.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah, and so they're about to go to a class. I assume it's a sex education class because Carrie is excused per her mother's request.
That's fucking crazy.
And Chris suggests that Carrie should be homeschooled because some kid named Kenny says that he's a creepy religious person. He wants to be excused.
Oh yeah, like mocking her, being like, "Oh, I'm religious. No, I want to be excused too."
Yeah. And then they break the flow completely by going back to the detective.
Right, it doesn't make any sense. Wait, quick question. Did you ever have to put a condom on Banana?
No. No. I didn't know how to put a condom on until I had a girl who actually did do all that, show me how to do it.
Really?
When I was 22. Yeah. Just because the generation after me was when they started doing the banana and all that.
Yeah.
We were the one right before they stared doing that. So I used to fucking struggle with putting condoms on.
Fuck.
Yeah, up until I had a lot of unprotected sex up until 1996. Yeah.
That's fucked up shit, man. Also, why do you pinch the top of it to get the air out, right?
I've never done that. I just kind of roll it.
It's I was taught to do that, to roll it and then pinch the top of it and then it gets the air out. And I was like, does that make it less susceptible to breaking?
I guess it just makes it less like a big balloon on the penis.
Yes. You go into vagina.
I think it's if a guy has a smaller penis and he's putting on a condom that's kind of made for one that's larger than him, there could be more room for air.
Well, he should just know better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on what.
This is what bananas are for.
Yes. Not eating. Not eating at all.
Potassium isn't real.
Yeah. So basically, they start talking about how Carrie didn't have friends.
Right. She didn't. Oh yeah, she was a loser. She didn't belong. Oh, everyone wants to belong, and she wanted it more than any of us. Someone calls to Ross.
Well, we see her doing the little heart with a picture. She's drawing a sketch of Tommy, Tommy Ross, who was. The men in this film were the most generic-looking actors they possibly could have picked.
There was like the actor who played Tommy in the original.
Yeah, he had the fucking flowing blonde locks.
He was fucking incredible actually in the role. And this guy. Yeah,
this just seemed like generic nice boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't want to like shit talk other actors, but it was just I was not impressed, and it was especially because you just came off that high of seeing like such a great Tommy.
Yeah.
Too.
It's hard though. That's the thing. Like when someone does remake something like that, it's really hard to step up, and like compare to people.
You know what that actor would have been fucking brilliant in? Piranha 3 Double D. Would have been brilliant. Well, he was very generic, and there was also it's like I never believed him.
Yeah.
I never believed that he was a good guy. I never believed that like he believed anything he was saying, and I think he could have just been anyone. Yeah. And that makes me sad.
So the other kids are basically noticing her drawing her little Tommy thing, and they start making fun of her. And one of them says, "Ross, someone wants to help you see God." And he starts doing the oh God, and simulating orgasm until Tommy throws a book at him. So then
it devastated me seeing like Carrie just like fold into herself there, and that's like I think the moment for me where I was like, okay, maybe someone else can play Carrie. Maybe let's see.
Well, I think one of the things that I did like about this is that no one tried to play it the same way, right? Because some people I've seen remakes where people try to do that, and it never works.
No, it doesn't.
It never works.
Make it your own.
Yeah, we're like like this. This was, I know, because I remember in college I did A Few Good Men, and I did not even look at Jack Nicholson's version. I was the fucking, the guy who ordered the Code Red.
Right. I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name. This was literally like 20 years ago. But I remember when we would do the performance of it, I was at General.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, no, I like to do that too, where I don't want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was just like I'm not going. I didn't study Jack Nicholson. I studied like military men. I studied their posture. I I hit as much of my hair as I could. I did I was basically and I remember giving the whole I still remember we live in a world that has walls. Those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Are you and it was just
hard nipples.
Yeah,
oh no, I have pasties on. You can't tell.
But it was a lot of I still remember that
military
speech.
Brain.
Yeah, I still remember that speech.
It as a monologue for auditions.
Yeah. And I remember I did that. There was a play called T-Bone and Weasel that I loved because I got to be Happy Sam, who's this used car dealer. And I just got to be this full-on Southern accent, just being a full-on piece of shit. That's and trying to, cheat these two boys out of a car. And it was really, but that was the thing. And there was also one that there was an Irish one that Ariel had actually introduced me to, called The Pillow Man. That I was.
The Pillow Man's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that I was just I would love to do that play.
You know what play you should do is The Goat or Who is Sylvia. I mean, you'd be if you were willing to accept that you could play a dad who has adult children.
Yeah,
it's this. The dad falls out of love with his wife and starts fucking their pet goat, and he tries to defend himself. It's a great play.
Yeah,
my favorite monologue is this thing called it's called Bloody Thanksgiving, and it starts with these are tampons. Mm-hmm. You stuff them up inside of yourself, and they help stop up the flow of blood. I think that's a really interesting metaphor, even though I'm not really sure what for. Nobody even told me about these things until I was 24 years old. I just assumed they were meant for people better than me, and then I just had to deal with the pad things, the diapers for adults that, the poor people had to deal with. And I'm sorry, I guess I don't have very good social grace boundaries. My fondest memories of my mother were her standing naked in the kitchen stuffing a turkey. So I guess you can say, moral compass. Don't really have that. There you go. There's an abridged version.
Well, there you go. And speaking of tampons, there you go. Segue King. Anyway.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah, so we go now they're playing softball instead of volleyball this time.
Right.
And Carrie strikes out.
She can't hit for shit, is what I wrote. But you know what was really sweet there is that, like, I thought it was the catcher at the time, but it was the gym coach, is, like, encouraging her. And I love that, you know? Really, really, that made me very happy.
So now we go to the locker room.
And they're individual showers, and this is, like, almost exactly what my high school thing looked like.
Yeah, the girls are not doing tomfoolery, and, you know... In a weird way, though, I feel like it kind of loses something, not because of, like, girls being silly, but because of the lack of slow motion. Like, I feel like things just happening in real time does kind of take away from it.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, it addresses some things that I did think were weird. Like her running at people with blood all over her hands and being nonverbal and just screeching. Her instead having a panic attack in the stall.
And then, like, collapsing into the fetal position.
While Tina is looking over because she sees blood, you know, coming in to her stall.
Right.
You know.
It still just, like, broke my heart. And it's, like, fairly realistic, I think, where, like, instead of just being like, where the fuck is this blood coming from? Being like, oh, it's Carrie, I'm going to go and tell everyone about it. Yeah. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, I think that was handled actually very well.
It was, but it broke my fucking heart. It makes me really sad. You know, she thinks she's dying. Carrie's Aunt Flo's in town. She's freaking out. And they all, like, and this has happened to me, too, where people, like, stood on the toilet and, like, peer over the stall. Yeah. It's, like, the worst possible thing.
Well, that's that thing I told you last week about my ex-girlfriend in the Bronx told me about, where those girls were, like, making fun of the girl while she was taking a shit. That's how they did it. They all got in, like, the stalls above her and were, like, throwing stuff and, like, you know... like yelling out to everyone, blah, 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 is shitting, and, you know.
Yeah, don't like... The only unrealistic thing about how many girls were peering over the stall is that the toilet's only so big. I mean, what are they doing? Like, putting their feet up and, like, wedging them against the, like, actual stall itself? They can't all get up there.
I assume they brought apple boxes with them.
They all have telekinesis.
Yes. So, Carrie's on the floor, freaking out.
I also like the crossfade.
Yeah.
I actually really like that.
Yeah.
It never bothered me. It usually bothers me a lot. And it didn't bother me in this.
Yeah. I also like Carrie. The first thing Carrie does is apologize. You know, for basically freaking out, but she was convinced that she was dying and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, the gym teacher says that she got... And they even go into the whole discussion with the principal that you were talking about. Because... That actually both of us were talking about. Because they're like, 16, isn't that a little late for her to get her period? And... There's a whole conversation there that almost what you and I were talking about.
Again, if you missed last week, I was 9.
Yeah, and the gym teacher said she was 10. You know, but most girls get to 12, 13. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I also knew people who were 16. I know one girl who was like, she was a senior in high school before she got it.
Oh, wow.
And then she actually, by the time we graduated, and she graduated, but she graduated with a kid.
Yeah. Oh,
wow. How funny is that? The irony. I hope she's doing well. But, like, so let's talk about the MVP of this movie. The principal.
Yeah.
He's actually fucking brilliant. And especially in comparison to the piece of shit in the original.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's so, like, he's charismatic almost.
It's almost to the point where it doesn't fit when he starts calling her the wrong name. Because it, like, in the other scenes, he seems like this would be a way more competent dude than someone who would forget her name.
Before he says Cassie, he says something else that's wrong, right?
He called her Carrie Wright.
Carrie Wright.
Yeah, which I think is also a more believable mistake.
Yeah, than Cassie.
Yeah, than Cassie.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Yeah. He reminded me of, shout out to Mr. Benjamin, who is the VP at Reed Middle School, who defended me when these girls took my Tinkerbell paper from Hot Topic and accused me of saying that I wanted to slit their throats. And thank you for defending me. I also want you to know I did say that. I'm just kidding.
So, you know, so we see, you know, he tells Carrie she needs to go home, but he calls her Cassie, so her powers freak out.
Right, and then again...
And in a way more visible way than just fucking up the ashtray in the original.
Oh, yeah, no, totally. But, like, the whole issue with this, too, is, like, the fact that they're just letting this underage person just go home.
Yeah.
You know? It was like, if I needed to leave school, they called my mother and called my father. Yeah. Which is wild. And then, but they offered to call a cab.
Yeah.
And that was very sweet.
Yeah.
That was very sweet. And it's good to know that in 2002 they didn't let you smoke inside of the principal's office anymore.
Yeah. I remember, at least in the 90s, there were designated areas where you're allowed to smoke, and you weren't. You were never allowed to smoke inside the building.
Really?
But you were allowed to smoke in the courtyard, and obviously a ton of kids went and smoked in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother used to skip gym class and go to what's called the back path behind the high school and just like smoke pot and.
Yeah, that's where we would go and like we'd I never smoked, but like we'd drink. People would like no one would ever like fuck, but like hand jobs and stuff would happen out there, and a couple girls blew like the local drug dealer guy in the van, so.
This is fucking wild.
I
wasn't innocent.
Yeah, no. We had girls who would full on, because that's what to get like free pot. They'd blow the dude and get free pot.
Fucking crazy.
And we used to make fun of him too, because he was like some dude who looked like he was like 30 or something. But I guess, he was getting blowjobs from all these underage girls, so,
Was he actually 30? No, he was 60.
I didn't ask his biography. I was like,
you should.
How actually old are you, sir?
Excuse me, sir. How old are you?
Yeah, it's actually funny because one of the guys I went to high school with, later on Facebook was bragging that he was the fucking guy in the van now. And I was like, dude, we used to make fun of that guy. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's pathetic.
Yeah, I think we were in our 30s or something.
He can at least sell ice cream or some shit, like do better. Aspire to do. No, you could do like what they do in Shameless, where you have an ice cream truck and then you just sell drugs out of the ice cream truck.
I've only seen the first episode of Shameless. I didn't like it, so I was.
It's great until the last episode.
I was really annoyed by. I hate like super smart, precocious like kids in shows.
Yeah.
And like I saw that first episode. I'm like, okay, there's stupid
at least
little
2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. They've got like at least 2 stupid boy geniuses in this family, and that one girl who takes care of everybody. And I'm like, I can't watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
So Carrie's looking at herself in the mirror. She's washing her hands and face, crying. And I love that she tries to practice smiling before going out. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. She's trying to learn how to be any semblance of normalcy.
Yeah. And while she's out there, Chris and Tina are getting behind her and mocking her. Plug It Up is now written on her locker.
Yeah, in red, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
And she opens the locker.
Yeah.
And the most expensive prank occurs.
That was the senior prank.
Hundreds of tampons fall out. So even to I haven't been in high school in a while.
Yeah.
But no, I was there when I saw my goddaughter do Shakespeare.
Okay.
And they still had tampons and pads are 25 cents a piece. In actual bathrooms at schools.
Yeah, that blew my mind. Many
tampons.
It makes sense because,
and they could only hold probably 40 tampons. That was a lot of tampons.
Yeah, it makes sense because, women are always fuck. That was the thing Steven Tyler, of all people, once said that, and I totally agree with him, that if men had periods, tampons would be free.
Yeah.
But, since we don't, I'm not surprised that they charge you, but it was still wait, really?
Yeah.
Something so necessary, they actually make you fucking pay for it.
No, it's really birth control pads, tampons, absolutely. It's a luxury instead of a necessity.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. It's fucking
so
ridiculous.
Sad, and I don't know what to do to change that. I don't know why it's not being taken more seriously. I don't know.
You know what I'll say for all the men who think that that's okay. I don't think you'd want to be around a whole bunch of women who didn't have tampons for if all women just stopped using pads and tampons for a week, we'd want them to be free. We definitely would.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And also we'd bother you for new pants and shit because we'd be ruining all of our clothes.
Yeah.
But then also it's all the same brand of tampon and that means that they all use the same brand, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
That tracks, but
I'm sure the prop house probably just called
tampons,
the order. Yeah.
They're putting all of their tampons that their parents bought them in this locker.
Yeah.
Hundreds of tampons. That's no. It's the most unbelievable thing in this whole thing.
Yeah.
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 That also just reminds me, there's a comedian, Michelle Wolf, and I love what she said once, where she talked about how if men had periods, because we'd still be the ones who have to remind you to put a tampon in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like,
Yeah.
I was sitting with Liana when she said that, and she's like, oh, I totally would have to remind you. And I'm like, yeah, you probably would.
No, totally.
Yeah, it goes, men would be like writing on the walls with their blood and all that shit. And like,
yeah, no, I have an ex-girlfriend now who literally, like, she paints herself with her blood, and she, like, makes, like, portraits and all that shit.
Yeah.
And she waters her plants with it. She, like, puts it in
Is that actually good for the plants?
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm.
I was trying to tell my mother that, and she was like, that's disgusting. I was like, this was a mistake. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's a very, for me, that's like, I knew like 5 or 6 artists who did shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she like puts it in the fucking like the fertilizer and shit.
Yeah. I had a no one who used it on their plants, but a couple people who would use it in their paintings.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but there was a girl I was friends with in high school who got pissed off at a guy, so she whipped her tampon out and threw it in his face.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, I remember when I told her about that. You know, like I was like, she was like, told me her name. Like, I've heard about you, and she's like, really? What have you heard? I'm like, oh no, that you threw your tampon. She's like, oh yeah, I did that.
Just so proud.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's really awesome.
That's really cute.
And she actually thought it was really cool that the guy wasn't like totally creeped out by that.
Aww.
You know,
Charles is special, guys.
Yes. So, Chris says, God, I hate her. And now we get, this is weird because I've discovered this is not in the novel. It was only in the Brian De Palma version with the little kid on the bike being a little shit. Calls her creepy Carrie. It's not in the novel. It's only in the Brian De Palma version.
They decided to like redo it in this.
Yeah. So they decided to, I guess they were like, you know what scene's not in the novel, but we absolutely need the little kid saying creepy Carrie. Only this time, instead of spilling on his bike, we want him to have what looks like a near fatal injury.
No, it looks like the kid's gonna die as he like bashes into that fucking tree.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying. And like I love too that like the fact that he just like how loudly he cries too.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah, although I didn't like this was something, it was such a fucking epidemic of this weird, like, let's do a quick cut in editing just to make powers look creepy. It was one of the reasons why I hated the original Saw, because they did all like those weird like Marilyn Manson music video cuts to like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, and I hated those. And I hated them then, I hate them now. And, you know, so this time we go to the White House, which
I love it when you hate things.
Yeah,
thank you. You're so passionate when you hate things.
Yeah, well, you know,
and you're trying to be like he gets demure when he hates things. Yeah, so we're going to the White House.
Yes.
And we're letting Donald Trump on fire. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We're going to get the Secret Service coming to...
Good.
Yeah.
I welcome them.
So
please.
Yes. So, basically we see this house looks a lot more normal.
No, it does, but you know the thing that, like, absolutely stood out that, like, really made it creepy as fuck, like, almost as creepy as the original, is that, like, the entryway, the walkway that leads up to the front door, there's a trellis, right? And the trellis usually, like, rosebuds, vines, and all that stuff. Nothing. There was nothing on that trellis. There was no life, no plants, no nothing. And I was like, fuck, that's terrifying. You know? Yeah, that really fucked with me.
See, that's the type of thing I wouldn't have noticed because I'm a city boy. So, like, it's great that you point that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I didn't notice anything. I was like, oh, it looks like a normal house.
My grandparents always had different plants growing on the vines for every single season. They even had, like, shit growing in the wintertime. Yeah. So,
then we go to this flashback. So this flashback was apparently shot for the Brian De Palma version, and was cut. Where little Carrie... weirdly enough, they still use Sissy Spacek for young Carrie.
I wonder what she looked like in that.
They probably just gave her less. They probably just like softened her features or something.
Can you just walk on your knees?
Yeah, I'm young Carrie.
I'm young Carrie.
But yeah, so the neighbor is sunbathing topless.
Yeah, and the actress who plays young Carrie in this, she's like grown up to do a bunch of shit. Right?
Has she?
Yeah, I recognize her.
I didn't mark down what her name was, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I will do it over here.
But yeah, so
and this girl's mother is totally okay with her doing this.
Yeah, in truth, my mother probably would have been okay with that, but
yeah,
my sister was running around her underwear all the time around my mom.
Yeah, well, we grew up like never shutting the door when we took shit or anything like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did shut the door in our
family.
Yeah.
Still I don't shut the door when I pee.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Never. Even in front of my dad still, I'm like, hi, Dad. Hi.
So, She asks what those are. And the neighbor's name is Estelle, and she says breasts. And I wish I had some, and well, you have to wait a few years. And Mama said good girls don't get breasts. And I kind of love Estelle going, your mother's a total hypocrite, because she's like a C cup.
Yeah, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. And then Carrie's like, well, she was bad when she had them. You know.
It's so dark.
Yeah.
It's so fucking sad.
Yeah. So now Margaret White comes out to tell her not to talk to the neighbor. And she calls Estelle a whore. You know.
Normal neighbor. No, that is like the most New York thing about this movie.
Yeah.
Like talking to your neighbors like that. Like that doesn't usually happen. I mean, like you can hate a neighbor, you just can't talk to them in suburbia.
Yeah. So she drags Carrie in and obviously starts beating her, and all the neighbors start like going, "What the fuck?" Like this is the thing where I was like, should someone not be calling the CPS?
Yeah.
And then meteors start coming from the fucking sky. Which, at this point, NASA should probably be called.
And how they reacted, like, just shows me that, like, this is not the first time that this has happened. Yeah,
in the novel, I found out that not only does this happen before, but Carrie, when her mom tells her she can't go to the prom, threatens to make it happen again if she isn't allowed to go to the prom.
Oh.
Yeah, Carrie threatens that she'll make the rocks come again.
Like, is it further, like, explained how and where the rocks come from?
No.
I don't remember.
No, I don't. I guess maybe we'll find out when we read the novel, but... That was a question I had. I'm like, because rocks don't normally dwell in the skies, so I'm not sure where.
Peanut, do you have the answers?
On the other hand, frogs don't normally fall from the sky either, so maybe it's supposed to be like a miracle or something.
Yeah.
You know.
It's Jesus' work.
Yes.
Yes.
Or Charlton Heston, because that's where the frogs came from.
Right.
And the Ten Commandments was one of the, let my people go.
Let my people go.
And then, no, Moses, let's see your people build their huts without straw.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yes.
He's like Bible quote. And did you see that thing where it was like the realistic 3D replica of what Moses might have looked like? And
no.
I sent it to you. No, I sent it to you on Instagram, and he looks like Hulk Hogan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look at it.
And the quote says, let my people go, brother.
Oh, wait, no, oh my God, that actually, I thought that was a joke. I didn't know that was actually what Moses was supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I thought someone had just photoshopped Hulk Hogan into looking like...
Fuck, because I went and I Googled it, and I was like, holy fuck, this isn't even a fucking joke.
Yeah, no, I legit thought that you sent me a Photoshop picture of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah.
The internet. Memes, guys. Memes forever.
So, so all these rocks are falling from the sky, tables are flying out the window. So now we go to modern times now. Well, modern 2002. There's a giant fucking Jesus on the door.
Yeah.
If it were any bigger, it would be the cross that they fucking crucified Jesus on. Like, it is big.
Rocky Mountain Jesus, the cemetery that all my family's buried at, it's giant. Like Jesus, if you were to take him off the cross, might be like 8 feet tall.
Really?
And he reminded me of that if he was like poorly sculpted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no Saint Sebastian this time.
He's in your heads, though.
Yes.
You're still thinking about him.
There's a little bit of Saint Sebastian in all of us.
I wonder why they didn't put Saint Sebastian in this.
Probably because they thought he was Jesus, so they were just like, let's get some Jesus.
Yes.
Even in the closet, there's Jesus in there, too. Yeah.
That's true. They were like, we realize that most of our viewers are actually stupid, so let's just Jesus it up.
Yeah. So, we see a very different interpretation of Margaret White. She's almost kind of sympathetic when we see her here. She's calm. She seems somewhat motherly until Carrie disobeys her, which I was saying to you that I felt that they should have they should have either moved or cut out the flashback of her as a little girl. Because if you've never seen Carrie before, and this is the first time you see it, it's like, well, this woman's a fucking nut job.
Right.
If they cut that scene out or move it, you think, oh, her mother, I don't know why people are talking bad about her mother. Her mother is actually quite loving up until the second that she slaps her and then drags her to the prayer closet.
Right.
And
this was exactly the spot in the film where in the original it's where Margaret goes to see Sue Snell's mom.
Yeah.
It's just, I didn't think it was necessary whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't gain anything from it.
Yeah. So I think that they that scene's been cut twice. I heard it's been cut in the 2000 the Chloe Grace Moretz version. So it might have been best to cut here, but maybe they just were like, well, we have to get the topless girl in there.
We put Tina in here.
We
got Tina and Helen and Norma.
We spent all that money on the nudity bump. We have to make sure we get this girl in there.
Yeah, we do.
You know.
It's in her content, like, she's like the daughter of a producer or something.
Yeah, so, why didn't you tell me, Mama? I prayed the curse would never happen to you. And, but yeah, it's so different the way she, and it's good that she's different because really Patricia Clarkson could not just go in there and try to play like Piper Laurie because she would have just been ridiculous if she tried to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, Patricia was fucking brilliant, but I feel like she was robbed of a lot of opportunities. I feel like the character could have been maybe, like, given more to do. That it could have maybe even be better written.
Yeah.
And I really feel like if I were given the opportunity to, like, play fucking Margaret White, that I'd want everything.
Yeah.
And, like, would have earned everything, having, like, booked that role.
Yeah.
And she kind of got fucked.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I realized when you were talking about me playing a dad, I was like realizing the ages that we're at now. Because you were not old enough to play Margaret White. Like,
Lies.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like if they were casting us in Carrie these days, like they would probably make you
Chris.
They would either make you
gym teacher.
They would make you the gym teacher.
Yeah.
Because they would get someone like person she's worked with Addie or something as like, you know, the kids. Like they would get those like young 20-year-old millennials. You would be like the gym teacher now. You know, me
my life is over.
You know, like me, like I would probably, I don't know, I would be the asshole teacher who makes fun of the poem or whatever, like.
Probably.
You know.
And you know what's sad that I didn't say last week? Is that he reminded me of my dad.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Either that or they would go really creepy and just be like, you know, let's make Billy older. And Chris is just dating this like
late
20s, early 30s dude.
You know who you would actually be? Is that background extra with the handlebar and mustache in the prom scene.
I am still not old enough to be that guy.
He had to have been like, that dude had to have been like in his mid-50s.
Yeah, I am still not old enough to be that dude.
Oh fuck, we were gonna like bookmark like the time signature and
we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out for next
because
time.
it's actually very important that
oh shit, we have to do it soon because it's actually leaving Tubi, so we have to do it like tonight. So we'll come when we come back from our break. We'll talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah. So we should probably take our break now.
Yes, I just got my period. I'm going to go cry in the shower.
Yeah. So we're gonna I'm gonna throw tampons at her and chant period and plug it up.
Yep, plug it up.
Yeah.
They are organic.
Yeah. So, we're going to take our break now. If you're watching on YouTube, check a look at a little bit of the film we've been working on. And if you're listening on... Yeah, I just burped. And if you... but I'm a gentleman, so I kept it in. So...
I'm a gentleman, too.
Yes. And...
we'll see you after the break, Peanut. Yeah, like...
And if you're listening on Anchor, here's a word from our sponsor.
Yeah, we have sponsors.
Mm-hmm. All right, see you guys.
And it's Tampax.
All right, people, we are back. Hey, how you doing?
Charles thought that John Lennon got shot at the Chelsea Hotel.
Yeah, so I'm wearing my glasses that just make me look like a douchebag who lives in the
And I'm
Chelsea
wearing this
Hotel,
tiara
actually.
because I know everything.
Yeah, see, I don't look like a guy who actually like does anything. I don't look like one of like the musicians right now. I look like a guy who's like going up to girls like, you know, I know a guy who lives in the Chelsea Hotel. Though I can,
That's what I just said.
I can introduce you to.
That's literally what I just said.
You know, so.
Wow.
I'm going to take these off now.
No.
Yes.
No, it's a good look though.
Yeah, I know. I will take them off though. Our listeners will. You're going to put the. No, you just put a hat on a hat. That's...
It's not as bad as tops, no bottoms. I hate tops, no bottoms. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Like someone wearing a top but nothing on the bottom.
Oh my God, who is the actress who does that? She did the movie The Nurse. She's like nude from the waist down all the time, but she's always wearing a shirt, and it's like just weird.
That actually happens in I Spit on Your Grave.
Well, that's because she's been raped a lot, but like...
Oh, yes. Yeah. I wasn't aware that that's what happened. And now we're back.
Yeah, so
this is
anyway.
Autopsy. Thank you to our sponsors. We are here, and if you actually got to catch a glimpse of Bishop's Cove, I hope you enjoyed. And please, again, donate to our IndieGoGo campaign. You have until February 10th. You can get some really cool perks, like you can have a Zoom with us.
Yes, exactly. And won't that be fun? I might wear the glasses. She might wear the tiara. You never know.
No, we're going to switch it. Or maybe we'll be tops, no bottoms.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yes, but you won't know because we're in Zoom.
Yeah. I will mail you this skeleton cat that was $3 from CVS.
There you go.
I will.
There you go.
We have prosthetics, we have posters, we have DVDs and Blu-ray, and all sorts of really cool shit.
All sorts of...
We have titties, we have faces.
So, anyway, when we last left off...
I took my pasties off, so this is protection.
There you go. It's the face of the joyless.
Yes. The second face of the joyless.
Yes. She has a face on the front, which is the actress's real face.
Shout out to Cat D. Ross. We love you.
Cat D. Ross. Yeah.
That was the most like frat boy sports thing you've ever done.
I know, and that was the whole point.
Because like,
that's like the least Cat D. Ross thing ever. So I was just like, let me be like, like an Eagles fan or something.
I feel like now you're like ready to graduate into me actually taking you to like a sports thing.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
We don't want to do that.
I'm going to tell you that it's a concert, and then it'll be a sports.
I will say the extent of like, well, then like if you're taking me to a sports thing, you better fucking get somebody who like wants to do stuff with me because like it's.
No, well, I'll tell you, I think you would actually like somehow be aroused or at least entertained by hockey live.
I enjoy the fights. I enjoy the fights, and I enjoyed in junior high and like 11th when I was 11 years old. I used to love playing hockey.
Oh,
I was an enforcer on the team.
Was it field hockey?
Yes. Yeah, because I can't skate. But like it was, it would be field hockey, and I was because I didn't know the rules, but I knew if you whack the other team in the ankles with the stick,
you win.
Yes, you win. Yeah. So I was my nickname when I was 11 years old was the Grim Reaper, which should say a lot about an 11-year-old.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
Grim Reaper.
Speaking of figure skating, right? Like I always wanted to be a figure skater for like a good couple of years, right? And then in figure skating class at the YMCA in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, they didn't make skates big enough for my feet.
Oh,
as a 9-year-old.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, so I had to wear hockey skates.
Well, you know who you needed? Jeff Gillooly.
Yes.
Yes.
I did.
Yes. That's our Tanya Harding reference for today.
It is. or what the fuck is the name of the gym teacher in this movie?
In this movie?
In Carrie.
Mrs. Desjardins.
Desjardins,
yeah. Because they you can see why they called her Miss Collins in the 1976 Brian De Palma version. Because we are struggling to see if we're pronouncing it properly.
Desjardins.
Yeah, Desjardins. There's an S in there. So let's go to.
We're talking about Carrie.
Yeah, let's go to her. She is in the gym. She is talking to them about their prom. She's asking who their dates are.
The gym teacher.
The gym teacher. Yes. But some of you even have your gowns.
Yeah, this is like almost verbatim from the original. Yeah. Like most of this speech.
Except for the little thing that I loved, actually, the little touch of
what?
She says you can make the botte. What even is that French word there?
Boutonnieres.
Boutonnieres. What are boutonnieres?
Boutonnieres are like, so women get corsages around their wrists, like my hair ties, and men get like boutonnieres. It's like they go right here. In
Okay. So she says, let's make boutonnieres for your prom dates instead, and we can make them out of. And Chelsea said many. It's ridiculous, by the way, that women.
It's so many tampons too.
Yeah.
It's so many, and I was wondering. I was thinking about it on the break too. I was wondering, like, did they have like plastic or like organic, compostable like applicators for the tampons at this day and age? Because it's just cardboard. Don't put cardboard in your vagina if you can help it, ladies.
I try not to put cardboard in my vagina whenever the occasion comes.
I've seen him do it though. It's not good.
Whenever there's a chance to put cardboard in my vagina or not, I avoid it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now my butt on the other hand.
Charles.
Yeah, my butt on the other hand. Cardboard all day, every day.
All day, every day. Okay, Richard, here, let me get the gerbil.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, when are you gonna make the Richard Gere joke about that? But okay.
Yes. Yesterday, Dan even brought that up too.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, the gerbil's still alive. I got a new gerbil. She's just very, very, very small
and
very fast.
We had to hunt her
for like 2 hours. Yes. Like I was late to a set.
Yes.
Yeah. We had to quarter, but my Chihuahua Peanut saved the day and was like a bloodhound and kept like.
Yes.
Noting exactly.
She would let us know where the gerbil was.
And then Charles had the brilliant idea to catch her in a garbage can.
Yep.
And we caught her.
Mm-hmm.
And we did not put her in Richard Gere's
hunter.
Asshole.
Yes. We have distinctly avoided.
He called us up yesterday.
He called us up. He was like, "Hey, man, you guys got a gerbil.
I heard you have a gerbil, and the gerbil needs a friend."
Yeah, let's you know what? I realize we're now going into like libel territory. So like, it's of course it's parody when we say that Richard Gere asked. This is like a '90s reference. Like only Dan and I and like other people who were like in our 20s and the '90s would get this.
Well, like you told me about it, and now it keeps popping up in every fucking aspect of my life, and I'm like, why, God? Why are you doing this to me?
Has Richard Gere even acted since the '90s?
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember in Pretty Woman, and that was.
Do you know that like so he hired her for what was it, a week, and like the if you do the math, he like lowered her rate to something like $100 or like $26 an hour, which is fucked up.
Yeah, well, this is why they have to unionize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do.
Because of
the gerbils.
Yes, the gerbils have to unionize.
The gerbils with telekinesis like Carrie.
Yes. So at this point, Miss Desjardins, man.
Gym teacher.
I do wish she was just called Miss Collins because that would be so much easier.
Yeah, but I like this woman a lot more.
Yeah, I imagine Brian De Palma like having the exact same problem we are, and like, okay, no, your name is Collins now.
Your name is Collins now.
Yes. So she slams Chris against the wall, and Chris threatens to have her job.
Which I was actually proud of because, like, I mean, it shows how times are changing.
Yeah.
Where, like, you can't do that shit.
Yeah.
It's past the time of, like, the nuns with the ruler and
exactly.
all of that. And where, like, she very well could have, but also, like, the lack of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That she absolutely doesn't think that she has done anything wrong with this whole, like, bullying incident.
Well, we've talked about that, like, last episode about how there was a gym teacher who was fired from my old school because, there was a student who pulled a girl's pants down,
right.
And as a punishment, she made him run laps naked in front of all the other students.
That's so fun. Did I say last week that my pants getting pulled down is the reason I got into Shakespeare?
Yeah. And obviously,
the Bard is involved.
Obviously, his parents threatened to sue the school district,
right?
And so she was fired for that.
Good.
Also,
fuck you, Miss Brielle. Yes.
God, I don't remember her name. I remember my cousins. Who?
You remember your cousins?
Yes, I remember my cousins. Weird, isn't it, that I remember my family? But how long I've been since I've seen them. But my cousins were like 16, 17 when I was like 9 or 10.
Right.
And so they went to the same high school as I did. And she remembered them. She remembered my cousins.
Oh, fuck.
Because she had been their gym teacher too.
Right.
Yeah, and she liked one of them and hated the other two.
That's crazy.
Because one of them was like on the archery team and she was like the jock in the family. And then the other one was like the troublemaker, like...
Yeah, you ready for this fucking shit? So my oldest, like, first cousins are in their 50s. And they all had the same gym teacher that I did. Yeah. We all had the same people. And there was like 40 years between us.
Yeah, well, they were all in their, like... I mean, I think they're in their, like...
30 years. Don't ask me to do math.
They're like 50s, 60s now. And, they had the same gym teacher I did.
That's fucking crazy.
In fact, my introduction to occupations teacher was actually a student with one of my cousins.
What is introduction to occupations?
It's basically... It's writing resumes, and
that's cool.
It was also the class where you had to be like, all right, well, if we all landed on a desert island, how would we delegate leadership? And
what?
Yeah, if we were in a plane crash and I remember that didn't go well because my friend Derek were basically deciding who we would eat. And we were like...
What he should have been doing is putting condoms on bananas.
Yeah, well, we were putting condoms other places, but I won't go into that because we were horny high school boys. But anyway.
We were raised very differently, but now we're perfect for each other.
Yes, exactly.
Clearly.
That's the thing. Like, I was like a fucking troublemaker. I was the kid who was kicked out of high school. She was
preschool.
Yeah, and preschool. Yeah, I've been kicked out of 2 schools and a country, but never a bar.
But never a bar. Yeah, no. An A- was failing for me. I was on. My parents never cared. They never put pressure on me, but I had to be the best at literally everything.
Were you ever kicked out of a bar?
I was not served once.
Okay.
I was not served once, but I wasn't asked to leave.
Yeah, I was kicked out of preschool and high school, and the UK.
Yes. I can't go to Russia. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. Yeah.
Yeah, and also me not being served, that happened literally 2.5 months ago.
Yeah. So
we're adults.
Yes.
Carrie does bad things
So
too.
at this point, the gym teacher, when she pushes them against the locker, and Chris threatens to have her fired, and she's like, "If you think I'm wearing my teacher hat right now, you're sadly mistaken."
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, they keep cutting back to Carrie, basically discovering.
That she has.
Yeah, that psychic power.
She harnessing her power.
Yeah, she starts looking up miracles and eventually starts seeing telekinesis.
But she's on the computer, which is the exact kind of computer that I destroyed in my dad's office in my house by going to boys.com, which was not in fact the Britney Spears song Boys. It was porn. But that kind of computer, and it ruined it forever. But the computer's still there.
Is boys.com gay porn?
No, it was my first time seeing a naked woman online.
Why is it called Boys?
I don't know.
Huh.
Ask the internet.
Because when you said it wasn't gay porn, I was like, I hope it wasn't what I think Boys.com would be.
I wonder if things would be different, or if I'd be a different person if if it was gay porn versus just this very busty. You know who she looked like?
Who?
She looked like the stepmom in Parent Trap and Sissy Spacek actually, and the fuck is the name of that?
So Sissy Spacek with boobs, I guess?
With giant boobs and a total cunt with cunty eyebrows.
Yeah, I've never seen The Parent Trap, actually.
It's okay.
You know me.
I've never seen Hocus Pocus.
Neither have I, actually.
Or Nightmare Before Christmas.
I was actually, oh my god. Then you were, see, this is how I know you and I have never dated. Because that was literally the favorite movie of every girl I dated from 2002 to Liana.
Wow.
Before Liana.
I think you told me that,
yeah. Because it was such a goth girl movie.
Yeah.
And so...
This is Halloween.
Yeah,
Do you think it's a Halloween or a Christmas movie?
It's definitely a Halloween movie. Yeah. I mean, because the whole point of it is Christmas isn't happening. Christmas is in the future. Yeah. And he's looking to go and infiltrate Christmas Town. But I love...
a piece of shit.
Jack? Okay, because I was going to say, I love that film. I love doing my Oogie Boogie impersonation.
What was I loved Coraline.
Yeah.
Coraline was great.
Coraline with the buttons on the eyes.
Yeah, that came out on my birthday. Yeah. And I loved it.
Yeah, what's really funny, by the way, is that a lot of people, and the actual director of Nightmare Before Christmas talks about this, how much it upsets him that people call it Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Why?
Because Tim Burton didn't direct it. Tim Burton didn't write it. Tim Burton was the producer.
Oh, fuck that shit.
Yeah, Tim Burton was the producer.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, but because he was the name and the director wasn't, they put Tim Burton's name on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have literally lit every copy of it on fire.
Yeah, the director says that it hurts him, the fact that it's constantly called Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
I didn't know that. That's fucking fucked up.
Yeah,
man.
when Tim Burton didn't write it, he only produced it. He was just the producer.
Holy fuck. That's the only snow globe that I've ever sold, though. Because I have snow globes and Barbies everywhere, Disney designer whatever shit. And I did sell a Jack and Sally one, and it was from at least 10 years ago. And it was $1,000.
Yeah, and that was the thing.
People love that fucking movie.
And that was the thing, my ex-girlfriend used to comment when I was a lot, 40 pounds thinner, on how
He's still skinny as fuck, he's just insecure sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm not what I used to look like. I had the Jack Skellington body, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, he did.
He did. Yeah, and so I remember my ex-girlfriend used to call me the Pumpkin King, and I always used to think that was, really cool. Yeah,
Do you want me to call you the Pumpkin King?
No.
I'll do that from now on.
Don't do that.
Pumpkin King?
But yeah, like, like, and that's the thing, like, like,
This
I love...
version of me will call you the pumpkin.
Yeah, but, like, I love the songs on Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, I know the
This
songs.
is Halloween, or even, like, the, oh my god, what's the, what's this? What's this? There's nightmares in the air, There's children throwing snowballs instead of throwing heads. There's magic in the air and absolutely no one's dead. Like,
you are Jack Skellington.
Yeah, like,
I never put that together.
I totally can do the, Yeah. But yeah, like, what is this? Like,
Gert, it's okay, Gert. Everything's... She's like, I'm scared.
We're just asking a question, Gert. It's okay. But yeah, like, so, but that's the thing, is that, like, Nightmare Before Christmas was such a seminal film in, like, the goth scene and with the girls I knew.
Yeah.
I mean, how many girls do you see dressing like, well, not now, but if you, like girls back then with like the striped stockings and all that sort of thing, that Sally look.
Yeah. When I used to be a Disney princess, I would get requested to be Sally a bunch. Mm-hmm. And then having to learn how to be Sally without ever seeing it too. Yeah. Was like, never feel like I did it justice, but also I've tried to watch the movie. Yeah. And it just, for some reason, hasn't worked. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. It just never worked. Yeah. I don't know. We were talking on another podcast earlier today, and now we have 8 movies that we have to watch today. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So we're talking about Carrie,
and then and so I'm just gonna call her Mrs. Collins. I don't care.
Go for it.
So she talks to the other girls like, you think she's ugly, don't you? And you're ugly. You just showed how ugly all of you are. And I love what she says about our administrator. How I would say that you should get 3 days suspension. And you're prompting, which is the original, but what she says, and I love this. Okay, yes. Our administration is staffed by men, and they don't have any idea how nasty what all of you did was.
Yes. Even though we have a sympathetic fucking principal in this version too. Yeah, that was like, I was like, yes, thank God. Yeah. Wasn't expecting it. Mm-hmm. Brilliant surprise. Yeah. Good for you, not Mrs. Brielle. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Chris says she won't come, and says that's up to you. Punishment for it is what she said. Punishment for skipping detention is refusal of your prom tickets and 3 days suspension. And they have detention with her. Now they don't dwell on it and put the weird 70s music as the girls are doing.
While they're doing shitty push-ups.
Yeah. But
I realized that those outfits though were very like Julie camp counselor thing.
That was 100% based on like what like girls wore in like Friday the 13th and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mind blown.
Chelsea has just disappeared from your screen.
My mind was blown.
Yeah. So Chris says, this is not over. This is so far from over. It's not even the same area code as over.
Which was just fucking stupid. Is that a thing that people used to say during Y2K?
I'm not the one to ask. I was out of high school by that point.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah. So Chris and Sue, at this point, basically they're asking if Sue was friends with Chris. She says we had our differences.
Differences about Carrie.
Yeah. I played. Yeah, she's front to back. She's back to front. I'm front to back. I don't know what that means.
I don't necessarily either. But then she continues on about I played with Barbies. She played with horses, and then something about Kellogg's and cereal.
Yeah, a girl named Kellogg, and every guy in school got a bowl of her cereal. Dirty Donna Kellogg.
What the fuck does that even mean?
It was a friend of Chris's, who
Donna?
I guess, but she's so not. It's the type of thing where it's like I don't know why this wasn't edited out.
Then we got Donna, Tina, Helen, Norma.
Yeah, because Donna's not even in the film. Donna's just someone that they discuss who is friends with Chris, who moved out.
I also wonder if she's in the book too.
She probably is. It's been
a while. It's been 25 years since I read it.
Yeah. So
an infant.
So at this point, they're talking about photosynthesis, and you know what? I do like the effect when Carrie's powers start to activate. Because they remind me of when I left England the last time, the girl that I slept with had the flu. And I learned, by the way, don't mix international flus. Oh. Because we don't have the natural immune system to handle it.
That makes sense.
So I remember being in Virgin Megastore, buying an album, and
R.I.P.
Suddenly, everything felt like it was 900 miles away. Mm. And it was everything was foggy and all the sound just fit. I'm like, uh-oh.
That's fucked up.
This
that happens
is-
to me with the vasovagal, like, syncope shit, but that's crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. This is really not going to go well. And then I went back to my friend's place who I was staying with because I got kicked out of, because I was basically, no, I hadn't gotten kicked out of England yet because I was going to go back to England, so I had given up my place.
Right.
So I was just staying in America for like 2 weeks. And so I stayed with my friend, and then like I think I just slept for 4 days afterwards because the flu was so bad.
Oh fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was the worst flu I ever had because, as I said, our bodies are not used to like. There's a whole ocean separating the different germs, and
the ocean is full of germs.
Yeah, but my body was not ready for English germs at all.
It happens. I can identify with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, because she was just like, but that was the whole thing. I was like, well, she's like, I'm really sick right now. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to see you for 2 weeks, so we should still have sex. I'm sure I'll be fine.
Buffoonery, shenanigans, and all of the tomfoolery.
And a horny 24-year-old boy who was just like,
I can't imagine you being 24. Well, like, because I just consider you to be my age as it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, just imagine
back, Ginger Snaps.
Imagine me like 500 times less controlled. And just like
you're the hardest thing to control in my life anyway. Like I can control my life better than I can control you.
And this is me, like I said, like really calm and really trying to be like a serious adult. So
that's fucking wild shit. I don't think I can handle all of this. I think really what I need is some help from
Batman.
From Batman.
All right,
Please.
I think now we're gonna get sued. Is that like a Todd McFarlane Batman?
I think it's from like Target. I don't know.
I mean, I know.
My mom bought it for Dan a while, like years ago.
But yeah, so
we're talking about Carrie.
He's got small parts. Poor Batman.
And he's a choking hazard? That's an oxymoron.
No wonder Batman is beating up poor people, because he has small parts.
Because he has overcompensation.
Yes, exactly.
At his finest.
Yes. So at this point, here's the scene that we were talking about earlier.
Is this 4 days before prom?
Yes, but here's the scene we were talking about earlier where Hitler? Chris's dad... I didn't even write notes about the Hitler scene because that was kind of just pointless.
But it was kind of I wrote that it was like the tuxedo scene in the original. I was like, there's no reason this should be in there whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we get Chris's dad demanding that not only does Chris get tickets, but that I'm going to call her Miss Collins gets fired and her contract does not get renewed.
Right.
And
I'm trying to find my spot.
Yeah, and and he says to the principal, "You're pleased with teachers who slam students against lockers and threaten them with feminine hygiene products?"
Oh yeah, fucking. Could take them to court, but I don't want to be vindictive.
Yeah,
I'm going to take them to court. I want to make them aware. I want to make you aware of what they did to Carrie. You don't know your daughter as well as you may think. That has to be so fucking hard.
Yeah.
To fucking hear. Especially when you think your kid is like Little Miss Perfect.
Yeah, she's been to detention 73 times, 20 for harassing other students.
20 accounts of harassment. And despite having a C average, she still got admitted to Oberlin.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I assume it's a good college.
It's a good college.
Okay. Yeah. But I love the principal standing up against...
huge upgrade
Chris's
from
dad
1970s. What was it, 76?
Yeah, the minute you fell for damages, I'll fall for damages on behalf of Carrie and the other 19 students.
Yeah. Fucking fuck.
Yeah. So, and Chris at this point is talking about she'll crash the prom.
Yeah, and I feel like also this was like this whole like plotting stuff was kind of just brushed over.
Yeah.
Like as if they just anticipated the audience already knew what was happening, which is not how you should ever do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and at this point, Sue and Chris argue over Carrie, where Sue talks about how you were chanting too.
Yeah, and that's a thing that I noticed from the beginning of this as well, where it's not so obvious in the original that, Sue is very much guilty of bullying her in this and held accountable and called out on it and has the change of heart. And that's really cool, but like I think I almost prefer the original in that you never see Sue like in the shower and in the beginning. You never really see Sue doing any of that. Well,
Sue was with them in the shower at the beginning, but Sue still felt bad for it.
But you didn't even they never panned to her while they were chanting that shit.
Yeah. So now at this point, Tommy had asked
Walter, I started writing Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah. Was the Freddie Prinze Jr. in it?
No. The Tommy reminded me of him in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Okay. Because honestly, if you put Freddie Prinze Jr. in front of me in a fucking police lineup, I could not pick him out.
That's Fred Jones.
I don't know. I've never seen the live action Scooby Doo. Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's so
good. Yeah.
The Freaks Club out.
And Matthew Lillard wasn't?
Yeah, he was Shaggy.
He was? Okay, then, so he was Fred. Okay.
Yeah, and then Sarah Michelle Gellar, his, still wife, they've been together for 30 years.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Howard Stern owes the money.
What?
Because Howard Stern bet them it wouldn't last 5 years.
Whoa,
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know who owes me money? You know who you are.
Pay me.
Is it a particular pop star by any chance?
Where the hell's my phone? Where the hell is my money?
Yeah. So, at this point, Tommy is being asked by Sue to take Carrie to the prom.
Right.
And he starts talking about a Freddie Prinze Jr. movie that you probably know what he's talking about, but I do not.
Did he really do that?
Yeah.
He did, really?
Yeah, he started bringing up how...
oh, fuck!
Yeah, about how...
I had been calling him Freddie Prinze Jr. from way before this.
Yeah, he starts referencing a Freddie Prinze Jr. movie, and he says, we're not allowed to do this in real life, but it works in Freddie Prinze Jr. movies.
What the fuck?
And I don't know what movie they were referencing. I figured you might.
Scooby-Doo. Just kidding, that came out... Actually, no, that came out in 2000.
It was about a girl who was the nerdy girl who he had to take her out on a date. But he said she looks like a supermodel, but since she has glasses on, she's supposed to be ugly or nerdy or something like that.
Princess Diaries.
Is that what that was?
No, that's Anne Hathaway and fucking Julie Andrews.
Okay, I've never seen.
It's got to be. You know
I was
going to
say, do you think I've seen
It's either I Know What You Did Last Summer or Wrong Turn or Scooby Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed.
I don't think it's any of those movies.
No.
So yeah. But he says that Carrie will think it's a joke, and so will everyone else. And Sue says she won't think it's a joke if you don't make it a joke. You're cute and non-threatening, so take her to the prom.
Also, can you imagine being a high school boy and having your girlfriend say that you're non-threatening? How would that make you feel?
No woman ever told me I was non-threatening.
Yeah, but what if they did? How would they make you feel?
I would probably think that.
Food fight.
I would just be like, what fucking weird, insane criminals are you hanging out with?
Okay, you were the wrong person to ask.
Yeah, exactly. Girls went with me because I was threatening. Girls were like, oh my god, he's like the town psychopath. I want to fuck him.
I want to fuck the town psychopath?
Yeah.
God, we grew up so differently.
We very much did. I was the guy who parents would be like, oh my god, you're going to be around him? That can't be true.
That's not good. Please don't do that.
Yeah. So, at this point...
I was a virgin until I was 19.
Yeah, I was 14 when I lost my virginity.
There we go.
And I'm so drunk I don't remember it. I was simply told it happened, and believe me, I think it happened because no 16-year-old girl is going to tell a 14-year-old boy they fucked unless they fucked.
What was the age of consent, I wonder?
17. None of us. Yeah, all of us were. Yeah, it was illegal for all of us, but, we were like...
Hilarious, too, that my mother, her sophomore year in high school, started dating her guidance counselor, who was, in his mid-50s, and then she, after that went to shit, she started, dating this Mormon dude who was, 40 years older than her, and then in college started dating my dad, who was her professor.
I distinctly remember being in my 20s and having a 16-year-old girl come on to me and being like, no, that's not going to happen, what's wrong with you? And she's like, I've been with guys older than you, and I'm like, That's not what this is about. That's not a good thing. You shouldn't be happy that you've been with men older than me.
Yeah, it's a pride thing. Childhood is scary, and it defines the rest of your life.
And that's the thing. Also, a lot of, teenage girls, a lot of them are super, super aggressive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I was bullied by a lot of them.
A lot of them are super aggressive, but a lot of them will then also thank you later on in life if you're the guy who doesn't.
Yeah,
fuck them.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure that makes sense.
Yeah,
thinking about people who are older than that, I'm thinking about the short dude.
Yeah,
being like, she won't be with me because I know I'm twice her age, and Tom going, nah, buddy, that's not it. Hilarious.
Yeah, I remember being 15 and lying about my age to my girlfriend because I knew.
Why?
Because I knew she didn't want a 15-year-old, so I told her I was 17 and just got held back a lot. I just kept. That's the thing. Girls will rather go with a stupid guy than a young guy. So I told her I got held back twice, and that was,
God.
yeah, and she was totally cool with that.
Jesus fucking Christ. That's wild.
Yeah.
And not surprising.
So at this point,
fucking wild animal.
Yeah, Carrie is checking out something called CAP, Consciousness Affected Physical Phenomenon, which is an organization of some sort. I assume it's something that would have come up in the series, had this ever become one.
It's Scientology. Just kidding.
And then Tommy, at this point, comes up to her and he starts asking her out.
Introduces her to John Travolta.
No, that did not happen. So,
don't tell Leah Remini.
And like she's very reluctant, as she should be.
Yeah. But at least he was just like kind enough to be like, "What are you reading? How you been?" And she was very forthright, being like, "I don't like being tricked." Yeah. And I like how they kind of panned away to like the mean girls too, kind of like eavesdropping and noticing everything that's going on. Catches up to her, she runs away. Does everyone think they can like keep going on playing tricks on me? And like I love that because it's just her like slowly coming into her power.
Yeah,
like, you really think you can keep doing this? You just wait and see.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And he's just like, I want to because you're different. Why? Because you're cool. Anti-establishment, you're mysterious. How is that? And I hated that, actually. And she asked about it, too. What about her? Fucking Freddie Prinze Jr. That's definitely Blake you're talking about, okay? That is Sarah Michelle. That is Buffy, all right? She doesn't want to go. And she asked if I could take you, and she said it was a good idea. He asked her if she can keep a secret and don't tell anyone because she'd kill me. She thinks you're really interesting and more than people.
No, if you can get me a napkin, I just spilled my drink.
Did you spill?
I spilled my... I didn't know there was that much in my cup, so I drank more.
I think Charles needs a bib. Let me get you a bib.
Yeah.
I'll get you a bib.
But yeah.
But she's interesting and more than people... You have more going on than people know.
Thank you.
And he wanted to see the look in Chris's face, too. Yeah. Also, Chris wasn't as defined as a character in this version.
No, Chris was actually a lot nicer person than the monster who gets off on her boyfriend murdering a pig that in the 1976 version.
Also, I keep thinking about why a pig?
A pig for a pig.
What is it? You pig, you're only good for my spawn.
Well, because
guess what that quote's from? The best movie ever made.
Okay, from The Conjuring, I guess.
No.
From I Spit on Your Grave?
No, I'm being ironic. It's the worst movie ever
made. Okay, from Yield, okay.
Oh, you said it.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck you, Lauren. Anyway, so...
Lauren.
Yeah.
Lauren.
Anyway, Lauren. Anyway.
Wow, we got both.
Them fighting words.
Them fighting words.
Shots fired, motherfucker.
I say that in Demon Hunter, right?
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Because Julie speaks like me a lot of the time.
Motherfucker. You think just because I'm not pregnant that I can't breastfeed?
That I have never said in real life.
I'm a mammal, goddamn. I'm a goddamn mammal.
Yeah, so at this point...
So they go back to the cop.
Yeah. Well, but let's skip all the cop scenes. They're boring.
Well, because they're fucking stupid, too.
Yeah.
They should, when we reread the book, I hope to fucking Christ that... they're not interspliced like that.
Yeah.
Because it just gives away everything. And also, it's boring.
Yeah. So at this point, Carrie is telling her mom, they're having dinner. There's no giant Last Supper behind them.
Which I missed it, though.
Yeah, and her mom
cake.
tells her to eat her Betty Crocker cake. And she's like, they give me pimples. And she's like, pimples are the Lord's way of chastising you.
So wild. I wish I knew that growing up. Otherwise, I would have never eaten cake. No, I love popping pimples.
And she tells her mom that she got invited to prom.
Yes, and he's a nice boy. He said he would meet you, Mom, and I'd be home by 11. And she's like, no. And she's like, well, I already said yes, so tough fucking shit. I have to try and get along with people, Mama. I'm not like you, Mama. I'm weird, and everyone thinks I'm weird, and I don't want to be, and I want to try to be normal. And and then she throws the fucking shit on her, the tea.
Yeah, she throws tea in her face this time, and it was soup in the original.
Right. And she tells her to go to her closet and pray, and she says no, and she slams the door with her powers.
Yeah.
And I like this, how she flipped the fucking table and shit.
Yeah.
After saying, I'm not done talking yet. Oh, I love that.
I think my favorite line she says here is, I want to start liking my own life. I don't want you. I don't like yours.
Yeah.
And then, and here's...
I want to start living my own life.
And here's one of the things that I really like is that, Piper Laurie just out of nowhere is like, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And here she calls her a witch.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not a witch, just sometimes I can move things. I should have known when you let the fire come. I'm not the only one. I read about them on the internet, and things are going to change around here, Mama.
Yeah, it's like they did a fairly, like, I think it's pretty, like, evenly balanced with things that they took from the original and then adding, like, maybe clarifying things or going back to the novel itself.
Yeah, and skipping...
Again, way better than I expected.
Yeah, and skipping over the shitty detective scenes, because I don't even want to talk about them anymore.
We don't even learn anything. And I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know,
But I can tell you what he looked like. He looked like this.
Well... Kind of. Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Hello, ladies.
Yes.
No, I don't even remember what he looked like. That's how bored I was.
So, at this point, we see Chris with her fluffy shirt, and Carrie is talking to the cat people. And when I say fluffy shirt, I don't mean a shirt that's fluffy. It literally had
like
the word...
a ruffled shirt with the tuxedo?
Yeah, no, it literally had the word fluffy on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, Carrie's talking to the cat people, and Chris comes over. Carrie immediately hangs up the phone. And, you know, Chris...
I do like how the mother still sews in this one, too.
Yeah.
Like that she's a seamstress.
Yeah, so Chris starts acting like she's trying to be friends with Carrie.
Right.
Starts asking if her boobs hurt because her boobs hurt when she gets her period.
I missed that. Also, no, they definitely do.
Yeah, you look a little bloated. When I'm bloated, my boobs get sore.
People tell me I look bloated. I would literally fucking light them on fire.
Yeah, well, if you were Carrie, you could do it with your mind.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's just spontaneous combustion. It does happen.
Yeah, and I'm not cozy with Sue Snell. Don't let her turn you into another one of her projects.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Chris is basically trying to do everything she can to raise doubt
her,
in Carrie's mind about Sue.
And what was it? Helen was a project?
I was a project. She tried to convince me to get Botox.
Yeah. And I told you about my 7th grade math teacher, Mrs. Schneider.
Yeah, you thought that you had Botox.
She was like, do you get Botox? Your face it doesn't move. And I was like, I'm 12 or 13.
Yeah. You know what I like, though? I really like Carrie just fucking growing some balls here and being like, maybe she thought you needed it.
But yeah, no, the character development for Carrie is fucking awesome, where you can see it leading into, like, some really powerful shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And I also
wrote this version.
I'll have to look at that. I'll have to look at that. But I also like Carrie trying on makeup by herself. She doesn't have a teacher telling her.
You're a beautiful girl.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
If you just put your hair back and put on some lipstick.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking manipulative fuck.
Yeah, you know, I mean, she does a scene with Sue where Sue helps her, but at no point is Sue like,
actually,
you would be pretty if we took your hair back and we put, like, no, like, Sue legit helps her. It was very clearly
Carrie's idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she wipes her mouth with a pad.
Yeah.
She can't decide what dress she wants to wear. What the fuck did I write here? Fashion thing or model.
She asked if Carrie wants a fashion consultation.
Oh, yeah. I don't want a model. And Sue's just really happy that she's going. Mm-hmm. She wants her to have a good time. Why do you care if I have a good time? The only reason you're talking to me now is because I have no friends of yours are around, and I want to go because someone likes me, not because someone feels sorry for me. You feel sorry for me because you're tunic. She has a tunic. Yep. There we go. Because you're better than me.
You think you're better than me.
You think you're better than me.
And it's okay. Everyone does.
So fucking sad.
Yeah. Now, at this point, rumors going around the school that Sue and Carrie are having a lesbian affair, which 100% I could believe people in school saying that shit. Because that shit used to go around my school all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, and people saying, I can't believe Tommy's going along with it, blah, blah, blah. And then I love Sue saying, oh, he's been very agreeable since we started having sex.
That's hilarious. I missed that entirely.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And Chris says she hates Sue and thinks she might try something. Tina runs over to Chris. Tina has the ballots for the prom. And Tommy and Carrie are on the ballot. And
I just don't think anything would ever top Sissy Spacek finding out that she won.
Yeah.
You know, nothing can beat that.
Yeah.
That slow-mo moment of her just the unadulterated joy.
And when they see that Tommy and Carrie are on the ballot, Tina comments, it's like the whole world's gone insane. So Chris calls Billy, and Billy is not John Travolta in this time. Billy is just kind of generic, skinny, psycho kid.
Who was the bigger dude with the pigs at one point?
That was Jackie.
That's Jackie.
Yeah, I don't know what actor
Okay.
played him, but he looked like Chris Farley to me.
He did.
Yeah.
Living a bump down by the river. The bears.
Yeah, Carrie's offering her mom some tea. Her mom is ignoring her. And she even tries to be like, which dress do you like better? She's trying to engage her mom.
Yeah, she is. Like, you can tell that she feels bad, but she's, like, justified in everything that she's doing. And, again, it's like, I feel really like Patricia Clarkson was just robbed in this.
There's a mark on you now. Woeful is the woman who makes garments with lustful purposes, for she is prideful and curses and rejects the Lord, which is Ezekiel chapter 13.
12.
They said 13 in this.
No, they didn't. They couldn't have, because, all right, well, maybe they did.
Yeah,
I'll look at my handy-dandy Bible.
Yeah.
It's a comic book. So you're so far astray from... I worry for you, your sin will find you, and when it does, not even Jesus will help you.
Yeah.
That's so, what the fuck? I really need him. Not if he doesn't love you anymore. Jesus.
Yeah.
Fuck. What would Saint Sebastian do?
Get hit by arrows and be in a lot of pain.
And have googly eyes.
Yeah. Well, glowing googly eyes.
Yeah.
So at this point, let me skip over the detective shit, because fuck that.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. Jackie, Chris, and Billy. How comes there's no pictures? Oh, that's still shit with the... Okay, so now we're at the farm.
Shit. Also, we have to, like, pay attention to that no matter who the cop is with, there is no attorney present.
Yeah.
And that's just not how the law works.
But I can tell you, as someone who is a 17-year-old juvenile delinquent...
Even the gym teacher, though.
Yeah, as a 17-year-old juvenile delinquent, cops do that shit all the time, because most 17-year-olds don't know they need a lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't...
But it's even Mrs. Collins.
Yeah.
Disjardin.
Yeah, so we see them terrorizing the pigs. Billy is pretty abusive here. The long-haired kid, I think he's Kenny.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, he can't do the kills. He tells Billy to do it. Jackie says he won't do it, and Billy says you have to cut the pig's throat. He does the little pigs, let me in. And
Negan!
You know, which I've done during gameplay of Dead by Daylight. I've chased people while yelling.
Negan forever. Lucille even forever. I would literally like Lucille. I'm just kidding. But
yeah,
also,
I was going to say you should not put a barbed wire baseball bat in your vagina. Ever.
Don't they like some knife shit in one of the Saw movies? Or something like that. No, but...
I can think of plenty of movies where there's a knife in the vagina, but not in the Saw movies.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Maybe. It might have been like Saw 18. I don't actually
Chris
know.
Rock
But also,
did.
like, we're talking about like the pig shit, right?
Yeah.
Did they actually slit the pig's throat in this version?
You didn't see the pigs getting slit.
See, but obviously with the sledgehammer with John Travolta in the original, that's not the proper way if you're going to collect blood to like murder an innocent animal.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just going to get everywhere. You can't collect it.
Yeah.
You know, so it is like the better way would be, I guess, to slit the throat and like collect the blood.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So at this point, Carrie is in her prom outfit. It's pink. And her mom says, of course it's red. And she's like, I can see your dirty pillows.
I can see your dirty pillows. They kept the dirty pillows, but this is, you know, see, like with Mrs. White, she thinks it's red, but it's pink. Where, like, Charles and I were talking earlier, and something was very obviously pink, and he said it was purple.
Because I'm a guy, and we don't know, like, the off colors. We just know the primary colors.
It was hot pink.
It was kind of purplish.
No, it wasn't.
But, yeah, so her mom tells her to take off the dress, and we can burn it together and pray for forgiveness.
Yeah. We can burn it together. And I love that she like shakes that she's trying to like open the lipstick.
Yeah.
They'll all laugh at you, and she calls her a Jezebel, I think.
Yeah. Jezebel fell from the tower, and so will you.
That's so fucking sad.
I love that as she gets her mom out of the room, she still tells her mom to watch her fingers before she shuts the door.
I know, and that was so sweet. As she slams the door on her, and then she leaves, and mom looks from the upstairs window.
Yeah.
So we are at
the
prom night!
Which is not, we did not spend more than half the movie at the prom like the Brian De Palma version.
I think I would have rather, though.
What I do love, and this is a nice touch, when Carrie is nervous and all the furniture starts floating.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't even notice it, too. He had to point it out to me. I was like, "Do you see that?" And
I thought that was such a nice touch.
How do they do that? Because everything's got to be practical, right?
Probably wire.
Yeah. Like fishing line or something.
Yeah, and when Tommy gets to the door, all the furniture crashes, and I love...
She's like nervous.
Yeah, and I love that he comes to the door, and he's like, did your ceiling just collapse? And she's like, yes, my ceiling just collapsed.
Isn't he like, can I see it?
Can I see it? No. And then it's such a sweet moment. Like it's and you talked about how it's changing at the time, but it's such a big difference from like this fucking weird red pickup truck that Tommy in 1976 picked her up in, and here it's like a limo.
He has a limo. That's so sweet.
Yeah, and she gets to go to the prom in style and be like,
Yeah, like the belle of my balls.
Exactly,
Yeah, I just still think that Tommy's just a piece of shit, and that any actor in the world could have played him.
Yeah. So at this point, we go to the prom, and as I said, this is like it's she even mentions that it's like Pygmalion in My Fair Lady,
Right. I love that she brought up My Fair Lady.
Yeah.
It made me so happy. And the only reason that I know about Pygmalion is because of that musical as well.
Yeah. So
I can't actually do it though.
So Chris and Billy, I like that they're backstage instead of under the fucking stage.
4 feet from the fucking teachers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mrs. Collins is watching.
Yeah, and Sue said she'd cut off my boys if I wasn't a perfect gentleman.
Yes. Yeah, and that's really sweet.
Yeah.
That's definitely really sweet.
So Billy is telling Chris, and Chris is very reluctant in this version.
She is, and I feel like this whole thing is kind of rushed.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that I can understand where people might say that in the original that it's so overplayed with the slow-mo and the cutaways to the bucket and the hands and all of that, but this is like the exact opposite for me. It's too quick.
And I absolutely loved also when the teacher, Miss Just Jardins or whatever.
Mrs. Just Jardins.
Miss Collins.
Mrs. Brielle.
Basically talks to her about how...
By the way, Mrs. Brielle, your daughter bullied me throughout all of high school.
Yeah, about how these girls, they'll never be more pretty or popular.
Yeah, I loved this, actually.
Yeah, in 10 years they'll be fat and the fat girls will be pretty. The jocks will have beer bellies. The ones who are miserable will turn out just fine.
Yeah, that was really fucking sweet because I had a guidance counselor say that to me once too.
Yeah, I've seen some of the girls who work in our projects who are just gorgeous, and I've seen they were like the nerdy girls in high school.
Yeah.
And I was like the town troublemaker, and I'm like, like a father figure to so many now, and it's like, you change.
Are.
Yeah, you change.
We have a lot of kids.
Exactly, and you change,
we have like 60 kids.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the people who were like, oh man, I'm the big fucking hot shit in high school are the guys who just are now like, popping out their 5th kid in Long Island.
I know. And going home and seeing people at Target or Walmart is an absolute fucking nightmare.
Exactly. It's so weird to me that there are people I went to high school with who not only married people I went to high school with, but later got divorced. And married other people I went to high school with.
I know, that's so fucking...
That's the weirdest, like I met a girl who I used to go to high school with, and she's had 4 husbands, and I knew 3 of them.
That's so
I went to high school with 3 of her fucking husbands.
That's so fucking fucked up.
Yeah.
It was really hard for me to grasp my last physical therapist, absolute doll I played basketball with. She was 3 years younger than me, Andrea. Back when I was with my mom, and she married Bradley Wheat, who I also loved, who I have known since kindergarten. And I just was like, "Oh, you married Bradley Wheat, and now you're 26. You're my physical therapist." And she was like, "Yeah, we just had Carson 6 months ago." And I was like, "At least I know with the 2 of them, they have fucking shit together, which most people don't." But I'm like, "Holy fucking shit!"
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's everyone.
Yeah, no, I remember distinctly a girl that I did not do anything with, but who came on to me maybe 10 years ago. And it's like, I knew her in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wrote me over Facebook and was coming on to me, but it was I knew you in when we were literally little kids.
Yeah, my fucking my first kiss, John Kay. I went to Jewish preschool. Right?
Yeah,
I didn't get kicked out, but I went to Jewish preschool, which is hilarious. And he just assaulted me with a kiss when I was 4 years old. Yeah. So that was my first kiss, and I got invited to the wedding recently.
Oh wow!
His I think second wedding.
My first kiss was a girl who lived she didn't live next door, but she would come visit her grandmother, who lived next door. Mm. When I was 12, and I remember she kissed me. It was the first person who ever kissed me on the lips, and I remember it wasn't a big deep kiss, but it was still on the lips. And I remember I was dizzy for a good minute or 2 afterwards.
That's really
it was amazing. It was funny actually. She and I spoke about this maybe 15, 20 years ago, and she's like, I sometimes regret that when you were 13, 14, I wasn't we should have sex just to see what it's, just so I can break you in.
How old was she?
She was 30 and I was 25, 26.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But she's like, you know, like, I thought of it later on when I was in my 20s, but it was like, she was like, it would have been wrong for me to do that. But she was like, you know, I knew how much of a crush you had on me. And, you know, I think sometimes it would have been, you know, she's like.
You should have just let him do it.
Yeah. And I was like, oh no, you totally should have done that.
Like, oh, of course, and I knew you'd say that. Like, oh, don't worry about it. The past is the. No, you should have done that.
Yeah, no, it's not like the weird porn. Well, not weird. I guess she's weird. Let's be honest. I had a giant crush on her, but I guess it's weird for like a 25-year-old to want to like fuck a 13-year-old. Like,
yeah, people get fired for that.
Yeah, like when my dad brought home a Swedish porn star for Christmas one day.
Was she on boys.com?
No.
I'm just kidding.
No, but it was like just this person they'd been working with, and she was this gorgeous Swedish porn star, and I was 13 years old. And she was the first like woman's breasts I had ever seen.
Right.
Because she came out of the shower, like without a towel on, and my heart literally stopped. Like I was.
Is that when Fred was like, "Don't fuck my son"?
Yes.
Hilarious.
Yes. One night, because me and her were flirting the whole fucking time.
You want to know what's really bad, but also hilarious, is that you were like, and she came out of the shower, and I started thinking about that scene in The Shining with the old family.
Yeah, no, she was definitely not the woman in the shower. I actually hide my eyes during that because I can't take old people naked. But like,
well, you should never. Well, okay, you don't talk to. Well, Fred's gone, and Mom is bad, so you won't have to take care of your parents. So never mind.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like, I remember, like, you know,
What if I have Benjamin Button disease and I get really old? Will you take care of me?
I think if you had Benjamin Button disease, you'd already be in your, like, 70s by now. So, but
I'm talking about Carrie.
But yeah, like, I just remember, like, my dad having that conversation with her late at night where, like, I overheard them and he was like, you know, don't fuck my son.
It's hilarious.
And she's like, why not? He's cute.
Don't fuck my son.
And I was so, at the time, as a 13-year-old, I was so pissed off. I was like, oh my God, my dad's cock blocking me.
Dude, you're fucking cock blocking.
This is the most fucked up thing ever. And now as an adult, I totally realized he was right.
Yeah, totally.
He was totally right, because that would have given me completely unrealistic expectations of women.
Yeah, and of sex. It would, like, probably ruin sex for you.
Yeah, if my very first time was with some Swedish fucking porn star and all the shit she probably would have done with me.
And you'd also probably never know, like, when women were, like, faking it or anything like that. My, like, best friend growing up, Caitlin, she was just like, never fake an orgasm, because then a man won't learn.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck. You're absolutely right.
Exactly.
That's so fucking. I mean, that's really good.
Yeah.
Like, one of my closest friends, Tom. I went through a phase where I like slept with all of his friends.
Yeah.
And then I was still smoking cigarettes at this time, and I was after like his birthday dinner, and his brother was there, and he came out just to smell it. He had quit smoking, and Tom threw open the door and he said, "You fucking redheaded succubus! Don't you fucking dare fuck my brother!"
Did you fuck his brother?
No.
Oh, see, I would have.
No.
Just because I'm a monster.
I didn't, but I have to actually remind me I have to buy his book.
Yeah. Because
I told him I'd support him. But no, Tom, and Dan O'Hare and Sharon, Tom's mother. Yeah. I did not fuck Dan. I can be respectful.
Yes. So anyway, enough sunny days. It's a wrestling reference.
Is it?
Yeah. I'll tell you about it afterwards.
Okay.
So at this point, we find out that Frank and Jessica were actually elected prom king and queen, but Norma...
Well, do we know Frank and Jessica?
No, I don't think we even met them, but Tina switched the votes.
Right.
So that Carrie was the winner. Carrie and Tommy. And this time when they get under the thing, the blood does not immediately come down on them.
No, it doesn't. She goes back out into the crowd and has a dance.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like, well, you kind of missed your chance to put the pig blood on them.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like masturbatory, and I didn't understand the purpose of it.
Yeah, so Carrie, they do their first dance, and at this point, then they sit back down, and that's when Chris pulls.
They sit back down. Was that on the stage?
Yeah. And we see the first drop of blood on Carrie's hand. By the way, unlike the Brian De Palma version, Sue is not even there.
Yeah, Sue's not there, but also unlike the Brian De Palma version, she notices the blood.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like a cool take on it, and then is like, oh fuck, this isn't good, and like looks up slowly. Yeah. That was interesting. I don't know if I prefer it or not, but it was interesting.
It's very interesting because this time almost no one laughs. Literally, it's just Tina and I guess Kenny is the long-haired guy are the only two people who laugh.
Until Tommy gets hit.
Yeah, but even then, most people are just concerned when Tommy gets hit.
Oh, really? I thought people were still laughing.
Yeah. Tommy's super pissed. Everyone's horrified. The blood is on her. Tommy throws down his scepter, and I think showing it in real time and then having it even the point of view shot where the blood comes onto the camera, I don't think worked as well as the slow motion from the De Palma version.
And I generally I hate the kaleidoscope blend. I hate a fisheye. I hate a split screen. I hate slow mo in a lot of cases, but that's literally me being proven wrong in every single regard.
Yeah.
And now craving that, missing that, seeing this version of it.
Yeah, because here actually a lot of people run up to help Carrie, but Carrie has tunnel vision at this point, and she doesn't even see the people asking if she's all right.
No, but I was thrilled that people actually did ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she makes a shockwave that kind of pushes everyone back. Tina and her boyfriend try to leave, but the doors lock. Tables are shaking, the whole ground's shaking. And then Tommy isn't breathing, so I guess in this version he did get killed by the bucket.
It wasn't even that heavy of a bucket, man.
I mean...
He's still soft brain.
Yeah, I mean, if you drop a bucket on someone's head from
maybe
what?
10 feet.
10 feet, there's a good chance it'll kill them.
Really?
Yeah, depending on the type of bucket.
We're going to fucking Google this. If you guys have the answer, please let us know.
I mean, because you have to think about...
test it from my balcony right here.
I mean, I don't think he'll like if we start dropping buckets on him. But, but at this point, people start running in panic. The principal tries to calm everyone.
Is this the version where they were everyone's stay calm, be in one place, everyone gather, blah blah blah? Yeah. Just no.
Yeah.
The opposite of what should happen.
Yeah, and then everyone gets Norma manages to escape.
They never had a fire drill.
Yeah, Tina has the basketball scoreboard. Not the scoreboard. What is it?
Yeah, it was the scoreboard. Well, she had the hoop, and then someone else had the scoreboard.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the basketball hoop swings and kills Tina.
Yeah.
And people are climbing up ropes, which thank God when I was in high school gym, you didn't have to do the rope climb.
We had to do that. God, I hated it.
Awful.
I hated it so much.
That sounds so. No, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I still can't. I can't do a fucking pull up. But I wrote. I wish I could climb ropes. But I said I'm glad I never.
Yeah, it was the thing we had to do, and
that's horrible.
We also had to do the presidential fitness thing where we had to run a mile in under 10 minutes. Or something like
we did the mile, and then we had 5 miles.
Yeah.
Horrible. And with my vasovagal shit, I passed out every time.
Yeah, and I say 10-minute mile.
Mrs. Brielle was like, snap out of it. I was like, I just passed out, dude.
Yeah, I say 10-minute mile because my friend Derek and I were like, you know what? We're not going to do good at this anyway, so let's just walk this fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
No, so we just walked, yeah.
I wound up. I think the fastest mile I ever ran was 8.5 minutes.
Because there were some people did 3-4 minutes.
And,
and I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm just gonna walk. I don't give a shit.
I even fucking tried. I tried my best, and I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I was the best hurdler, though. I was really good at hurdling.
Yeah.
Until I sprained both ankles at least 5 times.
So at this point, we see Sue sees the fire over the horizons, and she hears the sirens.
I wrote spelunkers. Do you know what that means?
I know what spelunkers are. I don't know what that means in the... Spelunkers are people who go underground and to explore and not mole people, but they explore and stuff like that.
Like the Goonies.
Kind of more like the Girls in Descent, I guess. But
okay, great movie. Everyone watch that.
Yeah,
I wrote spelunkers.
Yeah, so
not relevant to this film.
Sue drives. We see fuel tanks at the school went up. The gymnasium's gone. The firefighters are talking about it.
And not really doing their job.
Yeah,
very
Sue
well.
looks up the power. The power goes out in the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, which I thought was a really cool touch.
Yeah, that was my big complaint. I love Carrie destroying the whole neighborhood.
Yes.
Instead of just the school.
Yeah.
I just wish this wasn't bad PlayStation 1 graphics, but otherwise it was nice that
it was a studio.
Yeah, wherever Carrie went, there was destruction in her wake.
Yeah. And she didn't. And I really like that she kept the stillness in her arms. And all that shit. And I love the little the tremor.
Yeah.
Very very fucking.
Brilliant. I think it was useless to show Chris and Billy sleeping, and then leaving their place. I'm like, that's pointless. That's just extra time you're adding on.
That's just a tuxedo scene.
Yeah.
Where's John Travolta?
Yeah, burned cars, the town's on fire, there's cars flying and trees going down. And Chris and Billy try to run her. And I love also that Chris is different in this version. Chris is saying, what are you doing, Billy? Don't
do that.
Yeah. And
see, I don't know. I mean, maybe a middle ground between the two.
Yeah.
I think that'd be more
realistic. Yeah, it's a completely different character here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel like even like every character, maybe even including Carrie, wasn't given the opportunity that you maybe would have been given in the original film.
Yeah.
Just for character development and like as an actor being able to like, drop into that.
Yeah. So she wraps their car around a tree, which I do like that better than her randomly making it explode without knowing the mechanics of what would make a car explode.
You know her father was a mechanic.
Yeah.
That's what she wanted to do in flipping the literal frame over and over.
Yeah,
No, wrapping it around a tree was really fucking cool.
Yeah. So Carrie comes home.
And it's a cool playback to the fucking kid at the beginning on the bike.
She takes a bath, which is different. I know in the novel she takes a shower because it's a parallel to the beginning of the film.
Bless you.
Thank you.
That came from the bellows.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was really impressive.
Yeah, her mother walks past the bedroom.
I did miss the whole creepy her standing behind the door thing.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
And here's where she says, the Lord says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And she tries to drown her mother. She tries to drown her daughter. And Carrie does what she does in the book, where she makes her mother's heart stop.
Yes.
Yeah. Instead of all the stabbings.
It was actually obvious that was happening. She did such a brilliant job.
Well, they also did the CG close-up of her heart, like stopping and,
I missed that.
Yeah.
I apparently didn't need it.
Yeah. And we see Carrie shot in the bathtub, dead with her dead mother next to her. And Sue is now in Carrie's house.
With Saint Sebastian.
No, Saint Sebastian was not in this version. And she pulls Carrie out of the bathtub. She does mouth-to-mouth with her, and she gets all of Carrie's memories.
Right. Could have been more obvious, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which does happen in the novel, although Carrie does not survive in the novel. Carrie spits up water. She does not remember what happened.
And then her hair is shorter.
Yeah, well, that's because she has a wig on. She has a wig on to purposely...
Right.
You find out 234 people died.
And 11 got out.
Yeah.
11
got out. In the novel, it's only one. It's only Sue.
Yeah, it's only Sue. I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
And I especially really like that because, like, for how long ago it was written, having the, like surviving female, that trope, have it not necessarily be the protagonist in the film. That's really cool.
Yeah. And so we have a dream sequence, but this time it's Carrie having the dream sequence.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. Her mother says sin never dies.
Sin never dies.
And then she she wakes up. Sue asks if she had a bad dream, and then she sees she's in a car with Chris.
Yes.
And Chris lunges towards her, and then she wakes up again.
Yes.
And Sue asks if she's okay. She takes off her wig, and then we see Carrie looking out the window, obviously to lead on to further episodes that never happened.
That never happened because it wasn't popular enough.
That's the funny thing. It was popular. It was really big. It was watched by 12 million people. It was very It had very high ratings. It was made an.
I can be wrong. Maybe once in my life.
12.2 million people watched it. It had a 5.0 12 household rating among males 18 to 49, and it was the number one rated show among women 18 to 34 in that time slot.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's like the primetime, like HBO Sunday 9 p.m. slot.
It was on Mondays. It was on Mondays, though. It wasn't on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but the equivalent of.
Yeah.
Popularity.
Yeah, and it was super popular, but and Angela Bettis and the actress who played Sue, who I remember from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, that's where I know her from.
Yeah. They were contracted to come back, but they never shot any of the series.
Why?
No one knows. Just NBC didn't like it. NBC, Brian Fuller even wrote a script for the second episode.
Fuck.
A full screenplay that was never used.
I remember thinking it was a very abrupt ending.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really fucking pissed about this ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because,
Carrie should die.
You're changing the big thing by having Carrie survive.
Yeah.
But one point they talked about Carrie surviving and Sue getting her powers, which I think would have been worse than having Carrie survive.
I'm going to pretend that neither one exists.
Yeah.
It's always just the arm.
Yeah, so that was the 2002 version of Carrie.
That is longer than the original.
Yes, by a long shot, by I think 40 minutes or something.
And probably on the on cable probably would have lasted 3 fucking hours.
Well, they actually cut out 45. It was on NBC,
what?
So it was a 3-hour block with commercials, and they cut out 45 minutes.
We saw those 45 minutes.
No, we did not. It was Jasmine Guy was a character in it as a paranormal investigator.
Oh yeah.
Her subplot was cut out completely. and it was about 45 minutes of the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's like Keanu Reeves in Bullet Train.
Yeah, that was cut out completely. And, it was... I'm kind of glad it wasn't there because I could use less of the superfluous flashback stuff.
Yeah, fucking, like, I can't wait to reread the novel, because it's been so fucking long, and just to, like, pray to Saint Sebastian that the fucking cop shit isn't interspliced with the actual plot of this.
Yeah, I know there's a courtroom thing and there's excerpts of articles and all that sort of stuff in the novel, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I just hope that we get to actually, like, what if you never fucking heard shit about Carrie? It ruins everything.
Yeah, but yeah. So that was that version, and also apparently the series was going to be Carrie and Sue going to Florida, and then they were going to be traveling around the country helping other telekinetic kids.
How would they find them though?
I guess through the CAP website that she was looking at.
Scientology.
Yeah, probably not Scientology.
John Travolta.
Probably not John Travolta,
but Kevin Bacon's there too.
I don't think he's a Scientologist.
No, he's not. He's a fucking god.
Yeah.
He's footloose.
You realize that we are connected. I can't do the math right now, but I actually did it one night when I was drunk and figured out that we, through my dad and through someone who worked in a movie with Kevin Bacon, are actually in the Kevin Bacon 6 Degrees.
No, that was me. That was me because that was my one under 5 that I had on the following that got cut out, but it was with him.
But that was later on. Yeah.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
1 degree of Kevin Bacon. I don't eat bacon.
Yeah, there you go. So,
I did have jackfruit bacon yesterday, and it was actually quite good.
So anyway, on that note...
give us money for Bishop's Cove.
Yeah, so once again, a reminder, it's ending February 10th.
And we literally can't get it done without your help.
Yes,
so
exactly.
We really appreciate
it. So any contributions you can make, we have all sorts of great perks. We have, this lovely smelling head injury.
Yes, it smells like
flowers and love.
The most expensive aftershave you can get at Marshall's.
So, but you can win it, and
that's the only one that has a very distinct smell.
But it's a good smell. It's
this
a smell
was also
you can enjoy.
on Cat D. Ross's
and
head.
and this is another thing you can earn. You can also get executive.
I'll even lick it for you.
Executive. Let's not lick the various things. People might not want it if you start licking the props.
It's disgusting.
Yes, well, don't lick that. You can get all sorts. You can become an executive producer. You can become an associate producer. You can get free DVDs. You can get posters, signed posters. You can play Dead by Daylight. You can do Zoom with us. It'll be wonderful. So
if you want to win Dead by Daylight, do it with me. If you want to have a challenge, do it with him.
Yeah,
he's the best. Please do it with him.
So you say the address first, and then I'll say it. So that. Because some people say it's unclear if we say it at the same time.
Oh, I was just excited because I finally memorized it.
Yeah, so first.
You can donate at igg.me/at/Bishop's Cove Post. No apostrophe, one word.
And that's igg.me/at/Bishop's Cove Post. Chelsea, where can people find you?
You can find me in Betty Crocker. No, you can find me at Chelsea.LeSage on Instagram. And where can they find you?
I can be found at charles.d.lincoln on
And then
Instagram.
you can find us
together
at CL Square Productions on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Please remember to like and subscribe because we're here for you every single week.
Yes.
And next week we are going to cover
our final Carrie episode with the Chloe Grace Moretz episode.
I wish there was almost a plethora of Carrie remakes that we could just talk shit about or love. But also, I still think that no one should have touched it, and it should have just been the.
Well, we will judge next week because I have only seen scenes from that version. I've never seen the full version of that.
Okay. Yeah. So it's Chloe Grace Moretz and then Julianne Moore.
Yes.
She's fucking brilliant.
Yes.
So brilliant.
So we want to thank you for listening and tune in next week.
I didn't say we. He wants to thank you.
Yeah, Chelsea doesn't thank you at all.
No, I don't.
Yes, but all right, everybody. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Pleasant day, fellows.
Fellows.
Yes. And ladies and lasses. Fellows and lasses.
You're going to be okay.
Bye-bye.